Boys in the back. Boys.
What is good? We are back with another episode of The Boys in the Back again on this Monday while Ariel continues to kill it at the Winter Olympic Games over in Milano Cortina, specifically Lavigno for Ariel. I am one-third of The Boys in the Back, Connor Burks. Join alongside me as always on this presidential Monday. The president. Yeah, people say EP, executive producer. It's actually executive president. Mr. New York Rick, how we doing, brother?
Doing great. Love your little spice you put on Milano Cortina.
Milano Cortina, Lavigno. Grazie.
It's a beautiful day in New York City.
It's an empty day here in the office.
It sure is.
I didn't get the memo.
I did. It's President's Day.
I didn't get the memo.
You didn't get the
Trains
memo?
are running on weekend schedule. I get here, the doors are locked. I thought it was the Jets meme, the Jamal Adams. My key card didn't work. I was like, what's going on here? Can I get in the building? There was no receptionist to say hello to. It was a dry day. Frankie, how you doing, man?
You know, I'm doing great. Celebrating President's Day with you lot, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
How are you celebrating? Wait, how are you celebrating?
How am I celebrating?
You said celebrating. How are you celebrating?
I had some baby carrots, shrimp cocktail, and a yerba mate.
Okay.
You did bring in
lunch.
the shrimp cocktail.
Yeah.
Shout out. Favorite president?
Andrew Jackson.
Yeah, you're a big
He
AJ
goes by
guy.
Andy.
Yeah, you're a big AJ guy. I like old Tommy Jeff.
My favorite part
Louisiana
is
Purchase and whatnot.
he's famously on the $20 bill, and that's exactly what Mr. Pizzi Carroll owes me. So, Pizzi, if you're listening, which I know you are because I'm looking right at you on the multi-view, pay me up.
Wow, I was gonna say, I guess you're bearing the lead here. You're ruining the surprise. You're breaking the fourth wall. I don't know if any of those terms apply, but the ban is lifted, and we bring in the president of the Emerald Isle, one Pizzi Carroll.
How you doing, lads? Thanks so much for having me back.
What's up,
Is the
Pete?
ban
Go there.
lifted? Who?
What's up, Pete?
Who decided this?
Did you not discuss this with President Jackson before coming on? Rick, you just made this decision yourself, GC? A bit embarrassing here now.
I never
President
wanted the ban in the
Jackson.
first place. I was the one that on the show was just like, we'll see Pizzi tomorrow, and Rick was like, no, there's been a ban.
I don't.
Text me. Like, that was the first time he spoke about it on the show, but then he texted me, and funnily enough, similar situation to me posting Frank his winnings from the Royal Rumble. He sent me a text message saying, "You're banned from the show. I will explain it in an email." And the email is 16,000 words. So I haven't got to the end of it yet, but so far, I think I deserve it, to be honest, Rick. So I'm sorry.
Well, your contrition has definitely softened my stance. In addition to the fact that you put out the article of the weekend, the thing that everybody's talking about, I thought it only be right and only be fair to welcome you back on the Boys in the Back. All right, Pizzi. So obviously, big news coming out of Camp Aspinall. You were there for when Tom went in for surgery. Give us the broad strokes. Obviously, you covered quite a bit of this on the crack, but give us the broad strokes for our audience in terms of what you saw when you were there with Tom, the people you spoke to, and your major takeaways.
Yeah, obviously, I've been speaking to his team since this happened. You know, I've been covering Tom since 2018, 2017 about, I think. So I've always been kind of keeping up with it. So I guess the big takeaway for me is it isn't really a question of when he's going to be back. It's more of a question of, can everything get back to normal for him before he can even start to get things back on track with his fighting career? Like, there is no real time frame in terms of when this is going to be sorted out. Obviously, he had the surgery while I was there. There is obviously a large recovery period after that, and there could be another surgery on top of that as well. So in terms of what's going on with Tom, when is he going to be back in the octagon, I think I can safely speak for him when he wishes he could get back in there as soon as possible. We kind of have some testament to that within the piece where we spoke to his striking coach about an attempt that was made about 6 weeks ago to hit pads that went disastrously. Like, it's, you know, he spoke about not being able to find the pads if he put it too far to the left or right. You know, a very depressing situation all around. We spoke to other members of his team who said, like, it's nearly a running joke about him missing handshakes. It's happened so often at this stage. And I know I have a smile on my face saying this, but it's a really, really sad situation. The whole thing is very depressing, to be honest with you. And I felt it's only been the story is very interesting from a journalistic point of view, because not only have you got this guy ahead of a coronation moment where, like, we have DC on camera that week saying what everybody really feels about Aspinall going into that fight week. Like, if this can be the beginning of a huge reign for him. And look, we've been talking about the talent in the division at the moment. I think most people thought, like, he gets a win against Cyril Gane, he's going to be defending this belt an awful lot. Obviously, the fights get stopped due to a double eye gouge that he suffered at the hands of Cyril Gane. But there's also been this massive skepticism around Tom. His people believe that he was looking for a way out. People believe that as soon as he's landed at this point where his earning potential is at the maximum, you fight all your life to reach this situation that Tom is in this fight, and now they somehow believe that he is playing this up. He doesn't want to fight again. He is just looking for an excuse not to fight again. I think that's an important part of the story, and I think that skepticism actually makes the situation more depressing. When you go and you see the reality of the situation, you see how everyday life's been affected. Since that 108 days ago was when that's a time frame from when this happened to when that double eye surgery went down. I've seen some questions online in terms of, a lot of people were like, well, I thought he was talking about a surgery in mid-January and he might have another one then after that. That was this surgery. It's been pushed back. His eyes keep changing. There's a note in the article about him going through 3 different pairs of prescription glasses because his eyesight is constantly changing. It's a situation like no other. I think it is the most interesting story in the sport. And I was very, very glad to get the access I did, of course. They opened every door for me in the training room. Obviously, I went to the hospital with Tom in Manchester. And I think my goal going into this was to tell a human interest story about the heavyweight champion of the world being rendered pretty much obsolete in the sport that he's been doing since he's 6 years old. This is not just Tom's sport, it's his life, it's his outlet, and it's all been taken away from him. And I think with a large help from Shaheen Al-Shadi, it must be said, we got there in the end.
It was a fantastic piece, super well written, and obviously very insightful into, due to the access that you had to Tom and his team. You can check that out right now on uncrown.com. I want to talk about the skepticism. You touched on the skepticism and the people out there who are doubting it, whether it be the people who are saying in the fight itself he was looking for a way out, or the people that have come out of the woodwork now to kind of point to what they feel are inaccuracies with what Tom has said and what's going on and the surgery itself and all this stuff. You made an interesting point that I kind of agree with in terms of it becoming more depressing. If I'm Tom Aspinall and I'm sitting there and my only mission is to get back so that I can be the champion of the world and entertain the fan base, and all I'm met with is people kind of like shitting down my neck for no apparent reason because they have these tinfoil hat conspiracy theories, I can't imagine it's a helpful motivator. I can't imagine it's the type of thing that Tom's like, I can't wait to go back and prove all my supporters right while he's looking at all these people just shitting on him. That's just my own aside. My question to you is, what's your take on the skepticism that we've seen in the moments since, whether it be in regard to the specific details that you were able to, reveal in the piece, as well as the other kind of like general sentiment toward Tom since this has all happened?
I think largely, like, it's been very well received. But of course, as I said, the skepticism is a part of this story. I didn't want to shy away from it. I have that written into the story throughout it. It's kind of a refrain from the skeptics and whatnot. And I had no doubt that when this came out that they would be there, that this would happen. The skepticism I'm seeing largely is about the surgery itself. I've seen multiple people have sent me like doctors, people who are claiming to be doctors speaking about this. I guess like when you listen to these doctors speak about it, they're ophthalmologists. They're probably correct in terms of saying like if he had LASIK, this would not make sense. But he didn't have LASIK surgery. LASIK surgery is a cosmetic surgery. He had a medical procedure. Like the idea that, a laser being used, and as you can see in the image there, that yellow font there kind of speaks to a laser being used. They're used to remove tumors. They're used to remove a lot of things in modern day medicine. The idea that the only surgery you can have involving a laser on your eye is LASIK eye correction is crazy to me. And I think that when I see these guys speaking, the jump off point is he's had LASIK, and then they get into discrediting him when that's not the surgery that he had.
On top of that, and I also want to talk about like being behind the scenes with him and his mental. Like we've seen him go through struggles like this before. The Curtis Blades fight, it was supposed to be a coronation there. He gets this massive main event in London against the top heavyweight, blows his knee out in the first 15 seconds of the fight, has to build his way all the way back until he's, able to get another fight the very next year, takes a year off. Then he gets the interim belt. Then he's supposed to fight John Jones, misses out on that as well. And then you mentioned this was supposed to be that final coronation, that first heavyweight undisputed title defense, and he loses that as well. So to the naysayers, like we've seen Tom Aspinall come back from devastating injury like this before. I don't doubt his ability to come back again, but getting to spend time with him, having to go through something like this again, like seeing this behind the scenes of the surgery and him going through his day-to-day life, what is his mental state like? How did you feel like he was going through all of it?
Well, I think, you guys have spent some time around Tom. One thing he is very generous with his time. He's a very affable guy. He is a lovely, lovely guy. And I think while I was there, he was, being as nice as he can, like very accommodating. Everybody was lovely to me while I was there. But there is times you're speaking to Tom when, he'd be very brutally honest with you. He came on Ariel's show after the knee surgery and he spoke about how depressing it was. This is a lot worse. This isn't, I think he said at one point to me, like, when my knee was bad, I could sit down and you wouldn't even think about it. Like right now he has a black spot in his eye that he can see all the time. Even when he's sitting down, like if he's not moving, say like the striking coach was talking about movement, when he's moving over here and here, he found difficulty. But even when this guy's just sitting down trying to chill, he's got this little spot in his eye. So it's far more than that as well, if I'm being honest, because this is, I spoke about this earlier, like the idea that this guy would suddenly not want to do this has been his entire life. 6 years of age, he starts training. He was sparring with Tyson Fury. He stepped up on 2 weeks' notice to fight Sergey Pavlovich, an absolute destroyer. He's done everything he can. He rushed back after a year and avenged. He fought Marcin Tybura first in England, and then he fought Curtis Blades in Manchester. A horrifically traumatic situation for him, of course, occurred when they first met in a London main event where his knee went out. It seems to me like the skepticism, the idea is that somehow this guy is afraid, or somehow this guy suddenly, when everything seems to be going his way in terms of earning potential and all the stuff you strive to be when you start fighting. So as you said, this guy starts fighting at 6 years of age. His dream would have been to be the champion of the world. He finally gets there and it's just like, I'm not arsed. I'm actually terrified of all these guys. What was I thinking? Like that's the suggestion these people are making. And I think that is such a reach. It's an outrageous reach to think that a guy like this would be like that. And the best idea I've heard about where this had come from was from Ben Folks on The Crack on Friday, where he was like, well, the thing is, most people are afraid. And they can sum this up by everyone I know, every person I've ever met in my life would be afraid to do what Tom Aspinall does. He has that belt around his waist and he has to fight the most dangerous guy that's going to take that off from him at any given opportunity. So the idea for them that this guy would be afraid is far more logical than this guy can't wait to get in there and get his hands on him. This guy is sitting at home praying for the day he'll be able to do this again. This is his therapy. This isn't just exercise. This is his whole life. So I think that's probably the most logical take. I've heard it from Ben Folks. This guy's entire life is fighting. This is a horrific situation he's in. He did not have LASIK surgery. He's in a very serious situation. I really don't know what else I could say about it, GC. I've probably gone off on a tangent, but I tend to do that.
No, it's a fair point, well made, and appreciate you confirming, like, not LASIK surgery, even though, the amateur detectives out there have kind of identified something without having.
Well, like, it's cosmetic surgery, right? They're saying, like, this guy essentially got it, like, it's the equivalent of getting, like, a boob job or something. This guy, like, are you serious? Come on.
We're also saying, like, Tom Aspinall is going to the greatest of lengths to avoid fighting Cyril Gane again, a man that he's already stepped into the octagon against.
It falls apart under any minuscule amount of scrutiny. Like, the idea that Tom Aspinall is scared is just for dumb people, quite frankly. Like, you have to be stupid.
Scared or faking it or putting on some show to duck away or whining about his injuries or anything like that. It's all just... You have to just be a hater who's ignorant to the facts in this case here.
Yeah, you're either willfully deciding that or you're dumb. Those are the two options. Anyway, we don't need to harp on that. I think our point's been clear on that. What I want to get into is a conversation about timelines. Is anything more clear to you after having spoken to them? Have you heard from Team Aspinall since on the results of the surgery and whether there's been any impact? Like, what do we think in terms of timeline for Tom Aspinall, or is that still very uncertain?
Yeah, it's very fluid at the moment. He was back in the eye hospital today getting his first checkup, but I don't think they're going to know for months if this has worked. And even at that, as I said, like this is particularly dealing with a straightforward sight. These first batch of double surgeries he had, and the hope is that when that kicks into gear, it will somehow help the peripheral vision, and that will clean up. That's not guaranteed though. So there is a chance that he will have to have a separate double eye surgery, particularly targeting his peripheral vision and the struggles he's having with that. This one was more for straight ahead. That's all I know about that. But I really don't think there's a time frame. Like as he put it to me in the article, I believe the quote is used. Like he's not even thinking about fighting. Like that's like he can't really go to the gym and hit the heavy bag with any kind of anywhere near the kind of potency or accuracy or that he has before. Sure, he can hit it. Like he can definitely hit the heavy bag, but like there's intricacies to this and subtleties and everything like that just aren't really playing out for him. It seems to me the feeling that I got is everyone on the team is like, we don't know if he's going to fight again. You know, we have to wait and see how this goes. That is the situation I kind of left in the article. That is the feeling I got off every single person that I spoke to over there. So unfortunately, that is the situation as I see it. We just don't know when he's going to be ready to return. And look, the eyes are a very complicated piece of the anatomy too. It's complex. As I say in the article too, there have been times when the eyes improve and then he'll come back and they have degraded again. This has been a complete roller coaster. There has been no straight line of improvement like you'd see with a knee surgery, right? Like he's had the knee situation. He's aware of that, where it's like we're all going in the same direction here. It's nearly just a matter of time. We keep getting better. That has not been the case with the eyes, and that makes it even hard to kind of determine when he will be ready to come back.
Yeah, you mentioned the knee surgery. I mean, that was my first thought, is that just like this is something that happens all the time. You do the surgery, you do the rehab, you do the physical therapy, and then you're ready to go. And you know that you can get back. With the eyes, it's just this unknown, situation where you're just not sure. So at this point, it's really not when he'll return. It's if he'll return, which is incredibly unfortunate to be in. But obviously, the UFC is a business. The heavyweight division has to keep moving, even if he's not able to fight. We got a tweet from the man who poked him in the eyes, in Cyril Gahn, and he said, "It seems that things may be moving," with a hourglass emoji. "We can't have control on everything, but we can control how we prepare. When it's time, we'll be more than ready." So is there a chance that we get, of course there's a chance, but will we get an interim title fight with Cyril Gahn featured in it?
I think so. I think that is the way they will go with this. And I know, look, for all the skeptics on against Tom, will say, the people are like, this is all bullshit, he's making this up, he's terrified. Cyril Gahn's been dealing with his fair amount of negative comment too. You know, he's here. I just went through his posts during, when we're putting this article together, and I could see every time he posts something, like it's just him in the gym, and underneath it is, "You're a cheater," all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of that going on, and I'm sure those people who feel that way might get rubbed up the wrong way from this, but I do think that's what the UFC will do. If he's just fought for the title, as far as the UFC is concerned, that was a no contest. Regardless of how anyone feels about it, they'll say he was in a competitive fight with Tom Aspinall. He should fight for the belt. I don't think they're going to overlook him. And I think, honestly, if they're thinking about ideal candidates to fight him, it's probably Alex Pereira.
Yeah, and that would be the one that, I think if you're looking around the current UFC roster and landscape, that would make the most sense, right? Because I don't think there's anybody at heavyweight that would get people excited. Now, I guess you could maybe run back like Volkov and Gahn, right? Like that was a controversial.
Waldo. What about Waldo, GC?
I know it was controversial. I don't want to see it. I'm down for Salsa Boy. But out of all of them, it's Alex Pereira moving up to heavyweight and making his debut against Cyril Gahn for an interim title. He put an Instagram post out. It was in Portuguese, 1, 2, 3, Eja. which, I threw it in the old translator. 1, 2, 3, and go. So the sync up here of Cyril Gane being like, things are moving.
Is the 3 like the third belt? Is that where we're...
I think that's what he's going
for. I like that. Moving up to heavyweight, obviously like a massive star. And if he wins, then does he fight Tom Aspinall if Tom Aspinall returns? Does Cyril Gane get the auto rematch even in a loss for an interim title?
It's hard to say because of the uncertainty around the timeline of Tom. That's what it all kind of hinges on. I think the best case scenario for the UFC in a division that needs saving, and that's what's on our thumbnail. Shout out to Oven, who made a great one this week. It needs saving, and the person that I think could potentially do it is Gable Steveson. I really think, like, even if Alex Pereira and Cyril Gane end up fighting, once you're Alex with the heavyweight title, now you're still, potentially, if he wins, now you're still out of options, right? If Cyril wins, it's like, who does he fight? It's only Tom. If Alex wins, it's like, who does he fight? It's really only Tom. Maybe John, if John could be convinced to fight Alex. But either way, I think that the most likely savior, the one that can really inject some life into this division and really get people energized, is the debut of Gable Steveson. That would be the thing.
Okay, he's got to fight this week in MFL, but he was asked about potentially coming to the UFC. Yeah, there's the poster for it right there against Hugo Lasama on February 19th at 7 p.m. You'll be able to watch that on YouTube. Exciting stuff, just his 4th combat sport fight, because he did a dirty boxing since September. So he's staying active, but he was asked about potentially signing with the UFC. Here's what he had to say.
We've been in actually a lot of contact. I would say after every single fight, it's a call. And not with me, just with the people that I'm with. They relay messages to me, but it's all good messages. It's all positive things, good energy. We talk on a great basis. So when the time is coming, it's just when I want the time to come.
He also mentioned, like, if he gets an emphatic knockout this weekend, which is what he's done in his first 3 fights, all 3 coming by way of first-round finish, if he does it again this weekend, then he's going to call to not only fight in the UFC, but on the White House card as well. Olympic gold medalist. It makes all the sense in the world. Exciting stuff here, like, that could happen just this week. So you have sort of, it could potentially be Cyril Gane versus Alex Pereira. You could potentially have Gable Steveson making his debut for the heavyweight division. So, like, it feels like the hot topic right now is to shit on heavyweight, but maybe potentially in the near future we could be seeing some fixes done to it.
But that's the thing. I think if you had a title, be it interim or whatever, it at least gives the division a focus. I said this a lot during the time when John Jones was out. If there's not a champion that's active and defending his title, the whole division feels aimless. You don't understand what any fight is for. So even if it is an interim situation, we saw Tom in that role before as well, where you're like, this could be an interim that has been defended. That has been defended before by Aspinall. I think it's very good. And to Rick's point, to have Steveson just chasing up the rear there, like just going through guys. Like when I imagine an ideal situation, what the UFC could do with Gable, it would look something like Chimaev when he came in. Like just throw him warm bodies so we can see what this is like. Let him lap them up and let him be that looming meteor in the background hurtling towards Earth. Like let him be that guy where you're like, holy shit, man, he is going through dudes. Let whatever at the top of the division is happening. And I think that injects a huge amount of energy, much needed energy too, into heavyweight immediately.
It's one of those things that's almost like, certainly Tom Aspinall does not want to be in this situation, but it's one of those things that I think is the unintended benefit of this, which is that with Tom Aspinall out of the picture, there's other names that we could start talking about and thinking about, and it doesn't have to all be related to like who's going to fight the champ, right? We assume that if Cyril Gane is the champion or Cyril Gane has not lost since, that when Tom Aspinall returns, they have unfinished business and they will fight. But what about a scenario where all of a sudden Gable Steveson comes in or Alex Pereira becomes interim heavyweight champion or heavyweight? I don't know what their plan is for, allowing Tom to hold the belt. I would hope that they allow him to hold on to that belt. But there's a lot of different permutations of this that become exciting options, and there's a pathway that I could see to some exciting fights at heavyweight, which we didn't previously have.
Imagine by the White House card, let's say Gable Steveson goes out, gets a first round knockout again. He ends up actually fighting on the White House card. Let's say by June, just 4 months away, we have Gable Steveson making his debut in the UFC. Say we get a Cyril Gane, Alex Pereira interim title fight book, and let's say we have good news about Tom Aspinall on the horizon. It will feel like there is new life injected into the heavyweight division. One other name I did want to throw out, and I know there's been rumors, and I don't know if it'll ever happen, is Rico Verhoeven. Signing him and adding him to that heavyweight roster. A huge, huge star in kickboxing, making his UFC debut.
Yeah, he would be a huge addition. But I remember on our preview to 2026, Ariel asked, will we see him in the UFC? I said no. I think it was the only one that did. But the reason why I did was I was thinking, if this guy has a professional boxing bout before, he's not going to come to the UFC. We've kind of seen this with Francis Ngannou too. Like, the money that you're getting offered in the world of boxing is just on a completely different stratosphere. When you're someone like Rico, obviously, like when you are a bona fide combat sports superstar already, he's going to just get an awful lot more money if he goes boxing. And I do find it, just from like a personal business point of view for these guys, if they're earning like upwards 10 million for a boxing match, which the Saudis definitely have, which they have no problem dealing out for a super fight with someone like Rico, someone of his caliber, I think they find it very, very difficult to go back to being the UFC. And look, they've had opportunities. If this was a completely non-personal situation, Ngannou was making noises about wanting to be back there. Like, if we're just focused on revitalizing the heavyweight division, the lineal champion be a good start too. Like, they have had lots of options. It's just about getting them over the line. And look, before, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions, actually, lads. I want to ask you first.
Shoot, let him rip, man.
Yeah. Are we all in agreement that Aspinall is in the Pantoja situation right now? Like, I know obviously no one has claimed the title. He hasn't relinquished the title, but when he comes back, he's straight into that situation again. Are we all in agreement on that?
No question.
Are you asking me whether I want that, or are you asking me whether I expect that?
Well, actually, both. I'd like both answers if possible, Rick. That's an interesting twist.
Absolutely, yes, 1,000% that Tom Aspinall should be fighting for a belt next, whether it's defending his own, or if for some reason the timeline gets extended, he is no longer champion. He should be fighting. He has to vacate. They take it away. He should be fighting next. I can't lie. The tone and tenor of Dana White's, commentary every time Tom Aspinall's name comes up isn't making me brim with confidence that they're going to treat him in the way that I believe he should be treated. So I don't feel certain about that. I don't feel like that's a foregone conclusion or a guarantee, but I would like it to be.
What do you reckon, GC?
Yeah, I say no matter what. I think it's like Pantoja. He is the king that is crowned right now, and once they return from injury, they'll get their fights.
Now, the next one is...
Wait, before you go into that, you raised something interesting. You said Khamzat Chimaev, and I like that comparison.
This is what I was just about to ask you. Go ahead, please.
Here's where I think it went wrong.
Oh, no.
They didn't push Khamzat fast enough. They had him beating up these guys, and they built him into this monster. But how long did it take for us to finally get Khamzat Chimaev?
That wasn't just. Okay, come on.
That's not just on
there
the
was
UFC.
the COVID.
No. You're misunderstanding my point. My point isn't that it took too long and Khamzat was in and out and couldn't get visas, blah, 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 whatever you make. If you have him fighting for the title in fight number 3, you don't have that issue. You don't have to worry about that.
Crazy.
And so my point is, Gable Steveson, UFC debut at the White House, his next fight should be for the UFC title if he wins.
You are fucking insane. Next fight. Right? Here's the thing. He's in warm body territory here, right? He is in. That is the most electric thing to watch right now. I'm sorry. All right.
Let me. I'm sorry.
Can I just finish the?
No,
can I just finish the? Let me finish the point.
Yes.
I want to see this guy redlining against a guy that is not even in the UFC rank. I don't know if they have any heavyweights in the rankings anymore, but I want.
That's a good point.
I want to see full on Gable just running through a dude. That's what I want. If he's going to debut on the White House card, that is the first thing I want to see. I want that Chimaev energy. Title straight away is insane.
Can I?
It's go.
I need to spoil something for you, Pete. They're all warm bodies. They're all warm bodies, Pete.
Wow.
There ain't nobody left. With Tom Aspinall on the sideline, they're all warm bodies, brother. It's time. It's time to shove that man right into the title fight.
So I just want to be clear, you guys don't have any confidence in pandemonium this weekend?
No. Absolutely
Hugo
not.
Pandemonium
Oh, is that
Lozama
his nickname?
fighting
Zero.
in the main event of NFL 3 this weekend. There
You
it is.
talk about warm bodies. This is served up on a
the
platter.
disrespect.
He's beat
11-3.
people with winning records. He's beat people with winning records. That is very special in the heavyweight division.
He's
When you've got that
11-3,
kind of-
bro. He's 11-3.
Oh shit!
That's when a 7-3 dude. He beat a 7-3 dude the last time we fought.
This is the best opponent that Gable Stevenson has faced so far.
Yeah, they all are.
But
until
that's
the next
expected,
one.
right?
Who do you want to see him debut against? Ante Delia? Walter Walker?
He's ranked. I don't even want to be ranked. I don't want to rank.
Okay, we're going down. So, like, you want to see, like, a Mick Parkin?
What's Dontel Mays doing?
Oh Jesus!
What is Dontel Mays doing?
Is he even still in the UFC?
I can't find him on the rankings.
I'm going to use Topology's online. Use talk among yourselves.
I'm there right here.
Find some-
Kennedy Nzechukwu?
He's ranked though, no? Or has he gone to light heavyweight? One or the other? I don't know.
No, he went up.
He came from light heavyweight. Dontel Mays, fuck, man, I don't know what he's up to. Here he is. He's 49th right now.
Yes.
11-9.
Boys, we're giving him a top.
Hang on,
10.
Dontel Mays is John Jones' sparring partner as well. This is two. This is two in the family.
Can't do that.
Two in the family.
Hamdi Abdulwahab?
Hamdi. He's been cut though.
No, he got cut.
Fucking Christ.
He got cut after winning.
Carl Williams, didn't he just lose
Guys,
in PFL?
this is
Hey,
an
hey.
embarrassing effort right now.
Toi Tuivasa. Name opponent.
Marcus Buchecha?
Guys, what are we talking about here?
Thomas the Train Peterson?
You're telling me right now that you think if he stepped in there with Rizvan, Sergey Spivak, Jolton Almeida's in
These
the
are
rankings,
elite
but he's not
heavyweights.
there.
They're elite
Marcin
heavyweights. You don't know.
Tybura. You don't think
I
that
think
that's
they're
the
all-
equivalent? You don't think that
I'm
he
down
can
with giving him
step
a
in?
top 10. Just give him a top 10 offer.
Give him a top 10
You
guy.
forget the Pico experiment. Remember everyone talking bollocks
This
about
isn't
him?
Aaron
No,
Pico.
Aaron
he's not
Pico.
a-
Aaron Pico.
He's
He and
not-
Aaron Pico, brother.
Who's the guy that beat him? Aaron Pico.
Corrales, right? Henry Corrales.
We're not no, it's not Corrales. Miles before Corrales. He got choked out. It was his debut.
Who was the first one? Let's look.
Oh, you're talking about when he went to Bellator?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Lerone Murphy fight.
Zach Freeman.
There we go. That's
The Henry Corrales was the second time
Yes.
that it was like, he's unstoppable, and then he lost again.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. We
you're-
gotta deal with pandemonium this weekend first, and then he gets on the mic and he calls for the White House debut.
We did this exercise at some point in the last couple weeks to month, and I've got him favored over everybody in this division. It's just he is the bluest chip prospect that we've ever had. Like he is in. Not because I think he's the best all-around MMA fighter we've ever had. It's the combination of the level of wrestling that he has is unbelievable. You combine that with the heavyweight power and speed that he has, and then you combine that with how shitty I think the crop of heavyweights is. It's impossible to deny that he's going to be
I don't
able to
necessarily
come in.
disagree with you. I don't necessarily agree with you in terms of your evaluation of his skill set, your evaluation of the division.
Yeah.
I just want to enjoy it a bit more than you do. I want
You
to
don't
treat
need-
it like a glass of wine. I want to pour the thing, smell it,
Sing
let it
it,
swill
BT.
around in my
Sing it.
mouth.
I'm a
You just
chugger.
wanna-
Chug.
you are like mainline and heroin when
Yeah.
it comes to
Yeah.
Gable Stevens. You're just
Yeah.
injecting it. and
You're
going,
you're
"Give
not
me a
wrong,
Sherry."
PT. We need to see that elevation to the next level. Like, let's just give him a
tickle our balls a
UFC
bit.
fighter. Let's just give him a UFC fighter. We can even be back end top 15. You're like, give him Sergey Pavlovich off rip.
Okay, but here's the problem with this. What is a slow build at heavyweight? All of these
One
guys
fight.
stink.
Just give him
All
one
of these
fight.
guys fucking
Just give him
stink.
one
I want
fight.
3 fights. Top right,
Get
unranked.
the fuck out of
Oh,
here. You can't find
I'm not
three
going to get
guys.
out of here. You asked me to be. Right, here we go. Unranked.
Who?
Doesn't matter. Warm body
He
5.
says Thomas
I
the
don't care.
Train Peterson.
Okay, Thomas
Fine.
Peterson. Yeah.
Then somewhere between 10 and 15.
Derek Lewis.
Walter Walker.
Walter.
Any of them.
Yeah.
Then top 5.
When does the All-America matchup happen? Hokett versus Stevenson.
Here's where I think you're mistaken. You are thinking that there's a difference between the number 1, 2, and 3 and the number 14, 15. They are the same. I can assure you.
Nah.
There
I
is
disagree,
no
I disagree.
levels.
I think 6 and 15 are the same. I don't think 1, 2, and 3 are the same. We're talking
This
about like
is the same.
Volkov, Curtis Blades. And,
All right, this is what you're doing.
Come
We're
on.
doing unranked 6 to 15 and then top 5 title.
Boy.
And no, but we want to build up. Can we not just make it a bit of a come on, man?
Yes.
Let's just get excited. Let's get
I'm typically the one who advocates for a build. I don't mind a slow build. You need heavyweight needs to matter again.
I'm with you there.
Heavyweight cannot be this bad. And the other thing
Make heavyweight great again?
Make heavyweight great again.
Rick says Volkov and Tautzen Teixeira are the same people.
They are the same.
Nah, this is mad.
You are fucking, that's crazy.
You are fucking crazy.
And here's why it doesn't matter what order this comes in. Because if he does do that, let's say he does exactly what I say, right? He fights at the White House, top 10 guy, and then his next fight, let's say he's fighting a Cyril Gane, and there's a title on the line, and he wins that. He's going to be defending against all these guys that you wanted to see him against in the first place. It's the same crop. There's no difference. Once you're in this heavyweight division, you're one fight away from a title shot because there's nobody else in it.
If he wins.
We're talking about this dude.
I don't know if the UFC is going to do that.
There's going to be egg all over my face.
Val Woodburn.
As soon as
you are setting yourself up for even like a decision win, everyone's going to be like, "Fuck this guy," and it nearly always happens in MMA. It nearly always.
Except with Gable Stevenson.
You've been burned by this before, Rick.
Yeah.
And you're so shamelessly going after this guy. It's offensive to heavyweight, one of the greatest divisions.
The last time I felt this strongly was Hamzat. This strongly, the last guy was Hamzat, and he's proven to be.
He's
couldn't
lying.
even finish Dricus.
He's lying.
Couldn't even finish Dricus.
The last time he felt this strongly was actually in heavyweight, Marcus Buchecha. We all saw that work out.
It fucking was.
We all saw that work out.
He's doing all the same shit.
This guy is a
By the way, Marcus Buchecha, title shot? 1 or 2 away?
1 or 2 away. My goodness.
All right.
We'll see what happens with heavyweight. Hopefully they make some signings. Hopefully Gable comes over. Hopefully Rico comes over. Hopefully Alex Pereira moves up. And most of all, hopefully Tom Aspinall gets healthy and is able to fight
John Jones
again.
comes back.
You
have the makings of a great division if they all just decided to come back.
John Jones versus Gable, the master
mentor.
meets the protege.
Imagine he was in the Rashad slot. Remember when Rashad and Jones turned around?
Of course.
And it's suddenly like Gable turns into the young John Jones and John Jones is then Rashad. I mean, it's not going to happen, but
This is all a pipe dream. This is all a pipe dream. We're getting Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Cyril Gane.
Then Francis comes back. Then Rico fights Francis.
Oh, wow.
Then
Francis
Tom is like, oh my
back
God,
too?
my eyes are okay. I can actually fight again.
Pizzi's got himself amped up. We played the video what seems like 20 minutes ago, but Gable Stevenson did say he's in contact with the UFC.
Yeah.
This feels like a foregone conclusion.
For sure, man. He's knocking people out. He trains with John Jones. He has all the connections. He's a huge name. He's an Olympic gold medalist. Like, it makes all the sense in the world that if he wins this weekend and he calls for it, he will be welcomed into the UFC with open arms. I imagine that's what's going to happen. Let's go to some news and notes.
Wait, Pizzi, can you stick around with us? Can you react to some?
Oh yeah, can you hang? I guess we brought you on to talk article. Are you too busy?
Shit, schedule.
What do we think?
Yeah, look, okay, I guess. I'm going to have to cancel a few things. Move by 7 o'clock. Yeah, it's no problem. Go ahead.
All right, great, man. We got a lot of news and notes to go through, so just hang with us. ZO3 happened last night. Zuffa Boxing, you guys watch?
No.
I did not.
I saw some highlights.
What fights were on it? One fight. Name one fight.
ZO3. We all saw
Name
it. Come on, man.
Name an opponent versus another person. One fight that was on the card.
Only casuals wouldn't know who headlines ZO3. Come on, man.
Great point.
Be for real.
No, Chuck Mendenhall was there for sure.
Didn't Marvin Hagler fight or something, or is that just Max Kellerman was making the comparison to the jab? Okay. Dana White talked in a press conference afterwards, though, and he was asked about the pushback he's received since he started this foray into boxing just 3 cards in. Here's what he had to say.
What has been the biggest pushback that you have gotten from the traditional boxing establishments?
What's been the biggest pushback? There hasn't been any pushback. Okay. This is like beating up babies. I feel like I came in and I'm beating up babies. I expected more. I expected some pushback. I expected some, I don't know, them to be more game. They're all way out of their league. Like, absolutely, positively out of their league.
Just an insane phrase to use there, and the double down was just absolutely gold. It's like beating up babies. That's how easy it is.
Babies, you know, you don't know how it feels.
We know the feeling, yeah.
Yeah, we all know the feeling. He feels very confident 3 cards in. He actually continued on and talked specifically about another promoter, had some harsh words to say. Take a listen.
I saw, Eddie Hearn saying that the belt is cringy and all this stuff. I don't think anybody looks at Eddie Hearn and says, "Oh, this guy's a visionary," or the guy's been in boxing forever. I look at him like most politicians. You've done nothing in the sport except stay in the lane and, play by all the rules and, ride right along with but you ended up becoming part of the problem is what happened. And I don't want to sit here and smash Eddie Hearn or anything else, but Eddie Hearn works for his dad. You know what I mean? He works for dad. And, I don't think he's come in and ever had any type of vision, whereas we do. And we're gonna change the entire sport. And I understand the people who are the status quo in boxing don't like it. But it doesn't mean they can't still do their thing. If your thing is as good as you think it is, and you are as good as you think you are, then do your thing. Good luck to you. I'm going to do my thing, and they're going to do theirs.
I won't lie with these clips. Like it's nice to see this fire from Dana White, even if it is just about Zuffa Boxing, sort of like the secondary project to the UFC. But like going after Eddie Hearn, being like, look, I'm not here to smash Eddie Hearn, but like he's a daddy's boy. He works for Pops. Like he's a nepo baby. What do you want me to say? No one looks at him and calls him a visionary. He ain't doing jack shit. All these guys are out of their league. We're here to take over. It's nice to see this fire from Dana White.
Absolutely. I fully agree with you. It's good to see him passionate about something. Like, obviously, I'm taking the piss at the top, like asking. I genuinely don't know any fights that are on the card. But, like, this is very early days. We don't know what this is going to become. It could become something huge. I do feel like there is a bit of a contradiction there with him talking about, like, essentially, you're doing this with, like, your dad created this. This is like you've just walked through here. Eddie has, revitalized Matchroom's boxing arm completely. And the things he's doing are absolutely outrageous. And I can't help but notice over Dana's right shoulder there's a big Riyadh season symbol. And, they are paying for a lot of this Zuffa Boxing thing. Like, that was out in the open very early on. Obviously, people are going to pick up on that. But, like, I enjoy the conflict. Like, give it to me. It's going to make me tune in. I promise you, I did not watch a second of that boxing card. I watched every second of the press conference. So Dana still got that.
Yeah, and as Connor said, it's nice to see him kind of reinvigorated, and it definitely seems like his energy toward that is on the boxing side, right? And no longer on the UFC side, which is fine. It is what it is.
It's a great point.
Thanks, Frank.
Can we get the babies one as well?
Beating up babies.
It's like beating up babies.
Okay,
can we maybe get, how many babies do you think Dana White could handle? Can we do that on the White House card? Dana White v. 100 babies.
Okay, here's what this is exactly how I'm picturing the beating up babies happening.
You might get tired. It's a lot of babies.
It's a lot. It depends. How many babies
What's
do you
the
think
number? Can he actually beat?
What age are the babies?
They're babies.
Are they on solid food yet?
6 months.
They're on solids?
That's when you start switching about.
How do we know that they know to attack?
No, they don't.
Maybe
they don't. We're just putting them in the octagon, and Dana White's just picking them up and punting them out.
Maybe we make them wear a suit that's just all nipples, so they're like trying to bite.
They're trying to come through.
Okay, I like it.
All right, so this is how I speculate that this happens. Dana White's on like the group chat with like Craig Borsari and Hunter Campbell, and somebody sends the nuclear bomb versus coughing baby meme, and he chuckles to himself, and then later he's like beating up babies, like it's stuck in his head.
The double down was gold. The double down was gold. It's like beating up babies.
Can I just ask, are you getting the feeling that that's what's happening with Zuffa Boxing? Like, are you getting the feeling that he's beating up all of these promoters right now?
Okay,
like,
that's where I was going next. I don't. Okay. And he even admits in that press conference that it's still early days, right? This is event number 3. No doubt. I am getting worried that with their power, his ability to promote, and the backing of Saudi, that it might turn into it more quickly than promoters like Eddie Hearn or Oscar De La Hoya or anybody else expected. So while it does not feel to me like, Zuffa Boxing, which we all three admitted as, more casual boxing fans than UFC or MMA fans did not watch. But I do feel like there's going to be a turning point, and I think it's going to happen quicker than maybe most anticipated.
Yeah, this is something that since the beginning, we need to see it play out. They're not going to give up after 5 or 6 cards. This is not something that they're taking lightly. And also the team behind Zuffa Boxing is a team of people that are not used to failing in their lives. They have come to achieve great success, and they anticipate doing that with Zuffa Boxing as well. So it's something that I want to see play out. But I'm with you, Pete. I love the drama because Eddie Hearn is not going to stay quiet on these comments. He's not going to be like, "Oh yeah, no, welcome to boxing, Dana. That's all good and well. I have nothing to say in retort." This could bring fiery back and forth between these promoters.
Absolutely want that. That's what I live for. I love a bit of drama, and anyone says that they don't is talking utter shite. The fight game is built on drama. The build up to every fight pretty much is, I don't like that guy and he doesn't like me. That's the whole thing. So to do this with promoters is great. I guess my question is, lads, like, when these cards are essentially, have they not told us that like these Zuffa Boxing numbered ones are essentially always going to feel the way they feel right now? And I know they have Apatoya and guys like that, but is he not going to be in these, like, what is it, like, did he say 3 a year or something, big cards? Because like boxing doesn't seem to be doing that bad. And I've just pulled up like DAZN, for instance. Barrios Garcia's this weekend. Wood v Warrington 2 is this weekend. Like, there is a lot of good fights. And if I'm being completely honest, and I know it's early days and this could absolutely change, but the first 3 Zuffa Boxing cards aren't anywhere near that kind of caliber of fight.
No, but that point, they're multiple decades down the line.
Yes.
Whereas Zuffa is in event number 3. I don't think
are these fights going to start appearing on these Zuffa numbered events, like 1, 2, 3? Like, say we get to 26.
I imagine, yes. And I think a big indicator, and he mentions, we didn't show the clip, but in that press conference, he talks about Mauricio Suleiman and talks about how he's the best like calling card. He's the best business card that Zuffa Boxing has right now because he feels like he's making it easy for fighters to make a choice and go towards Zuffa Boxing, right? We've seen Shakur Stevenson, Terrence Crawford, and many others kind of talking about the belts and having to maintain these fees to the sanctioning bodies and all this. I don't think that they're going to get to a Garcia Barrios level like anytime soon, but I think they're going to close the gap a lot faster, right? And that's going to be the thing. If they can get to where Matchroom is by the time they were in year 5 in a year, they've now got to a point where they can catch up a lot quicker. And I think that's going to be the goal for Zuffa Boxing is you just have to catch up. You don't have to overnight be the home for all of boxing, but if you can get to where it takes them 5 years and it only took you 1, you're going to catch up relatively quick because they just haven't been around. Other than like Top Rank, they haven't been around long enough to say you can't catch up to us. And Top Rank is without a television deal right now. I think the environment is prime for Zuffa Boxing to kind of make those kind of strides. And then you mentioned those bigger cards. You're now being able to put your logo, you're able to stamp on these huge fights, right? Let's say they're able to get Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury done later in this year, and there's a Zuffa Boxing logo on that fight poster or on that step and repeat or all over the branding of that fight. That's going to help in a major way as well. So I think it's going to happen pretty quick, man.
Yeah, the most interesting point you said is the atmosphere feels prime for them to be able to capitalize.
Yeah.
Unlike the atmosphere at the actual events.
Ooh, I saw a clip last night where you could actually hear someone coughing in the audience. It looked like two guys just having a spar in a gym. It was.
Is that a baby? I'm gonna fight him.
Let Dana beat the shit out of that baby. But like that's a big fucking thing. Like boxing for since I'm a child, my granddad used to wake me up in the middle of the night to watch a boxing. Any boxing match, Prince Nazim, Chris Eubank, anything that was basically a big deal. He'd wake me and my brother up and he'd bring us downstairs. And no one ever told us this is a big fight. You just looked at the fucking TV and you could see this swell of people. You could hear the roar in the crowd. You saw these massive entrances. You saw the different kits these guys are wearing, that they represent different things and they're coming together to fight and one of them's going to be the best. That is a huge part of big fight nights. That is a huge part of the fighting product. With this current way it's done, I can't see them rivaling. Even like, I've been to events in Belfast that wouldn't be considered major events at all. Donovan and Crocker 2, the rematch between them. It's a huge event for the region. There's a world title on the line, don't get me wrong. But it's not like all of you lads are like, oh shit, is that happening today at Windsor Park? Like, the atmosphere in that place was absolutely incredible, and it wouldn't be thought of as like this massive, massive event. It's something basically Matchroom do to stimulate that boxing town. They know that whole town will be breathing boxing for as long as they're there. That's a huge deal. That is a promoter extending himself to do something cool for not a lot of gain. It's just the product. This night deserves a big fight. I just don't think that environment lends itself to a situation where anyone's going to be like, this is appointment viewing. And look, I could be wrong. I think it's good because if you're a boxing fan, there's more boxing because they are now on the block, regardless of what way it's packaged. But that's just my reservation, Rick. You talk about like Wood Warrington 2 this weekend. It's going to be fucking crazy. You can turn that on. It's probably going to be on at 5 p.m. your time, and it's going to feel like pure adrenaline plugged into your veins. I just don't think that the product, the way it's done at the moment, can match that. And maybe I'm wrong. I know they're extending the apex and there won't be audible coughs on the broadcast. But, and look, I hope it is. I fucking hope it is. I would love that. I would love if this electrifying Sunday night fights, whatever they are. That would be great. We're a long, long way off that.
100%. But here's my pushback, or here's my devil's advocate to that, or kind of the counter to that. You talked about how it's going to be electric there, but you also talked about that's stimulating the local market, and it might not do gangbusters, right? It's not going to be huge business. Alternatively, Zuffa Boxing has the advantage of, we've got a venue, we're putting on our own fights, we don't have to spend money to make those fights happen, and then we're still putting out a product that satisfies our TV deal and continues to keep that train rolling. So if you're going out there and you're doing those boxing matches that are great for the local crowd and you sell the local tickets, but it's not doing huge business for you, were you better off just putting your fights in a warehouse and not spending the money and making potentially the same net return? That's the brilliance of what they've
That's a business idea.
I'm saying from the business side. This is not the boxing.
I'm not interested in how much money they're making.
But how much money they're making is what determines the long term, right? How much money they're making or how much money they're saving is going to determine how they get to that next level where they are putting on the biggest fights, right? As I said, they might have their name slapped on Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury later this year. That feels like a mega fight that the other promoters can't even come close to touching outside of maybe MVP when you do a Jake Paul fight on Netflix. That is the thing that allows you to then, you capitalize on that, you make massive money in the deal, you do the little shows where you're not making a ton of money, but you're also not spending money to come out of that warehouse. You build up talent like Jai Apataya, then you start to fill in that middle. Then once you've got all those you squirrel away those nuts, you start to build out the roster. You're signing other fighters like a level of a Jai Apataya or even maybe bigger, right? Somebody like Shakur Stevenson on the next time he's on a deal goes, why the fuck am I interested in any of these belts anymore? Why don't I just do what Zuffa's doing? Why don't I just go with Dana White? Let's fight for the one belt. Then then I imagine the landscape changes. So I think this is more of a holding pattern. This is more of a like, we're doing this now, and then the future will be that.
But there needs to be a draw for the audience to tune in. Like last night, you're literally watching people feet shuffling. And also, like, to Pete's point, like it stimulates that local area. If every single fight card is taking place in a warehouse in the desert of the same city week after week after week, people aren't going to be inclined to go. So that audience, that crowd is never going to be there for you, because we talk all day about like all these people around Zuffa Boxing. They have the backing of Riyadh season. They have all this money. They have all these successful people, going after it. Ultimately, they need an audience, people that are going to be dedicated to watching this. If no one's tuning in, how are you going to be generating revenue?
Kinda.
They are.
Kinda.
But just to your point, Rick, like the idea that they're in a holding pattern now and it's going to be different from this, it's kind of not what we've seen from the UFC. If that's the business model, like since the pandemic, we're using the Apex all the time. This is meant to be a stopgap.
That's the different business, right? When the UFC was in its early days, they were doing the smaller show. We're going to Atlantic City. We're on the boardwalk. We're doing this.
But we're hoping, right? You're hoping there. Like we don't know for sure that they're actually going to do that.
Oh boy, I can't imagine. Well, maybe not Atlantic City. They might be already onto stadiums and arenas by the time they're reaching the type of scale that I'm talking about. When you say, Connor, that they need the viewership, they kind of need the viewership. They've already got a long-term deal with Paramount that's paying them a lot of money. They're not in the same position that Golden Boy, Top Rank, Matchroom Boxing are, where they rely on the rights fees from a lot of these television deals to support going to these cities, to build up the local market, to then sell tickets. They are broadcasting to us very transparently that they don't care about the ticket sales, that they're going to put these fights on in the warehouse, and they already have the broadcast deal secured. They're not as desperate for those financial gains that the other promoters are. And I think that gives them a big advantage in terms of what they're going to be able to build in the future. I predict success for them in a major way, and I think it's going to happen pretty quick.
We'll see as it goes along. They're just on card number 3. We're going to have to wait years before we can make a final judgment on Zuffa Boxing. Dana White
This is like beating up babies.
Yeah.
Thank you, Frank. I love that. Quick on the draw.
Beating up babies.
That's the one we need. Beating up babies. He continued at the press conference, and he was asked about the White House card, and he had some exciting news to share. Here's what he said.
We have like 2 different options laid out, and the matchmaking process has already started. So, yeah, we got the White House card done last week.
The card is done already to go?
Yep.
Nice. How many title fights are you able to say?
No. Okay. I'm not saying anything.
Okay, he said that the card was done there. He then later clarified, no, I didn't say I was done. He did say it was done. He just meant that the card is built. They have 2 options that it looks like they're going to go with. Couldn't tell us anything more than that. He then was asked, is there going to be any special promotion? How are you guys going to announce these? Are we thinking IG Live? Here's what he had to say.
Just one other question about the White House, though, was like, as far as announcing the card, do you feel like, in the media world that we're in, it's enough to just put it out, or do you feel like that? Is there like some kind of special announcement that we should be expecting, or is it just like, hey, tell people what the card is, and the media will do, their thing, or do you?
Yeah,
feel
we
like
don't know yet. As we get closer, we've been kicking around a lot of ideas, and I don't know. Me and Borsari actually fly to D.C. this week and sit down with the president and his team and start walking them through. Not just the production, but the fight card. We have like 3 different options on all the different production stuff, and see what he likes and what he doesn't like. But let me tell you this: this event is going to be so badass and so unique and so special, and so expensive.
All right, so we're 4 months away now. Just like less than 4 months now, and we're saying the card's been built. It's going to be badass. It's going to be expensive.
Okay, here's the thing. The card's been built, followed by we're going to the White House to run it by Trump, makes me think that it's not this is not the final card.
I didn't say it was done.
Because
replay.
He said the card was built.
Card's done.
Okay, Rick? That's what he said.
Trump
He didn't
goes,
say
I
it
don't
was
like
built.
this, I don't like that.
Beating up babies.
Trump is gonna see the card and be like, where's Derek Lewis?
And Conor McGregor is not fighting Derek Lewis, according to this.
We're going to need to make a couple changes. We're going to need Conor versus Derek, at least in the headliner.
Twice.
And then I don't see myself versus 1,000 babies. So, no, I'm going to be fighting the babies, Mr. President. Oh, okay.
You heard
okay. It's like beating up babies.
You heard Bill Simmons' shout that Barron is going to debut at this. Barron Trump, that's the wild card.
Yeah. Well, is that the injection into heavyweight? Wouldn't he like 6'8"? Let's throw some pounds on him and get him up to 225. Boy, come on, that range. Him versus Taliesin Teixeira.
Yeah, just jab.
Jab. Barron, throw that jab out, Barron. Come on. Man, live, breathe, and die by it. So we have no idea who's going to be on it still. We don't even know who's going to be on UFC 327 in April. That's neither here nor there. We don't have any main events.
No, but the whole fucking sport the whole promotion is being held up by this. There's no title fights booked. There's nothing. So are all of them happening?
A fantastic point. No title fights booked right now. We've only had one undisputed title fight in 2026, and we still don't know when the next one is going to be. None of the champions are booked. But you said the whole sport's just waiting on this. That's a great point. You don't even have the rundown in front of you, and it's just like you're following because everybody's taken to social media. We saw the Alex Pereira post earlier, the 1, 2, 3, let's go. He wants to be on the White House card. Gable Steveson, if he wins in emphatic fashion, he wants to be on the White House card. Sean O'Malley posted a video about what his next fight could be. Here's what he had to say.
I'm ready to fight Jan. Me versus Jan at the White House. Like, what the fuck else you gonna do? What the fuck else is there to do? I hope you knock out Jan. I will. Sugar versus Peter with co-main event. That's what I'm talking about. Shit, boy.
So, Sean O'Malley says, me versus Piotr Jan. Gable Steveson, we talked about him wanting to sign with the UFC. Here's what he had to say about the potential of him debuting on the White House card.
I think there's a spot for me, especially being a U.S. Olympic champion. There's got to be a place for a guy that can represent America. I feel like I don't think there's one American champion right now besides Gaethje, but he's kind of the interim. So if the White House happens for me, it happens for me. If it doesn't, I keep moving on, and the next thing will come, and the next big thing will arise for me. But I would love to be on the White House card. That would mean a lot, but it's not the end of the world if it doesn't happen.
He talks about being an American champion. It's not just the American champions that want on. Your 170-pound champion, Islam Makhachev, He talked about being on the White House card as well. Here's what he had to say.
Let's do it. I tell them I will be ready soon. If White House, of course, I want to be in White House because there may be one and only we will make the fighting in White House. I want to be in history.
All right, so we're getting everyone and their brothers and sisters calling for the White House card. The sport is literally on hold. Everyone's like, why do you keep talking about the White House card? It's like, because every single athlete and promoter is talking about it as well. So we get the Dana White. It's built. We're going to go pass it by Trump, everything like that. We got a couple of options to go. Then we also get a tweet from Alvaro Colmenero at Colmenero on X, and he reports the plan that the UFC is trying to make involves Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje as the main event at the White House. He also mentions Islam defending against a natural welterweight, as Ali says, with Ian Gary being the best position option for an event yet to be determined. We'll get to that in just a second. But that first point, Ilia Topuria, Justin Gaethje, main event at the White House. Would that be White House standard for you guys, main event?
I think it is. I think it is one of the best fighters in the world. I'd love to see him back there. I think it's great. I know a lot of people, the first time I spoke about this, the idea of these two fighting at the White House, a lot of people were annoyed because I was like, is this the look America wants? Because I have a feeling I know who's going to win that one. No disrespect to Gaethje. I just think Ilia is the fucking man at the moment. Love that fight, honestly. What do you think, Rick, as an American?
I don't care about the patriotism aspect.
This is meant to be about America, mate. This is the 250th fucking birthday of your nation, and you don't care about America? I mean...
Who's your favorite president, Pete? Come on. Let's hear it, man. It's President's Day over here.
Mary Robinson. Sorry, she's Irish, but...
That's it.com.
I think...
You last week said this would be a disappointment.
I think people on Twitter and Instagram and the wide majority of MMA fans would be disappointed with this.
They're very positive people, though, usually on X, I found.
They're also
especially
logical,
after the Tom article.
Logical, and
critical
empathetic, critical thinkers is this fan base. I think people would be disappointed with this being the main event.
Really?
I think it's good.
Yep.
I think it's good enough. I think the return of Ilia is going to feel big, and if you put it on the White House, I think people can finally kind of just like get behind it, and they can let go of their expectations. I still maintain that I don't think John versus Alex is out of the running. It's going to take some maneuvering to get there, but I still think John versus Alex is the most easy one to make. But if you have Conor McGregor versus anybody, I think that can take it to the next level. I would sitting here right now, I think they will get one of Conor or John. That's what I think.
You still think?
Yeah.
There's a potential for Conor or John.
I do.
Conor needs to fight. I keep saying it. This is I really feel like he needs to fight more than he has in a very long time, just to stimulate some energy. Look, it's like anything. Fighting is the catalyst for everything in his orbit. You don't have to look too far to see, his businesses aren't doing so well. It's been a bad run of PR due to his civil case. A lot of different things going on there with Conor. I think he wants the PR week that goes with fighting, not only just for himself, but for all of the enterprises around him. I think more than ever, I think he will give this an honest to God go. The other times he's been getting ready, I just didn't feel like his head was in it at all. And look, I don't necessarily think that it's ever going to be what it was. I was around that guy, and I thought he was the best fighter in the world for a very short period of time, but he was magic. Everything he touched turned to gold. We haven't seen that guy in a decade, pretty much. Sorry, go ahead.
My reservations are not because I don't think Conor is motivated. I think Conor is motivated to do it.
It's his
to
body.
Your point, no, it's not that. To your point, I think he needs it more than ever, and it would be a boon to the other things that he's doing. I think the problem is going to be the contract. I think the problem is going to be Conor McGregor's expectations of what he needs to be paid, and the UFC no longer being in the business of paying that price is going to be the friction point. I don't think it's the motivation anymore.
It's a good point.
I think it's going to be the money. I think there's a world where they come to Conor McGregor and the Pawn Stars meme where it's best we can do.
Yeah.
That's what I think they're going to come to Conor McGregor with. This is the best we can do, and I don't think it's going to be good enough.
If we don't see Conor McGregor or John Jones on the White House card, I'm not sure if we ever see either of them again.
John, I think
see them.
John, I think is going to be easier, and here's why. They gave him a number that he turned down. they have leverage now. They can go, yeah, you turned down that money. That was your money to fight Tom Aspinall. Here's what that number is going to be. And if John truly needs it, now there's a cap on how much John Jones can make. It's not going to be more than $30 million. Guaranteed, because he already turned that down to fight Tom Aspinall. So they're only going down in terms of his price tag. Conor McGregor is coming into this as, I used to make a ton of money off pay-per-views. You got rid of pay-per-views. What are you going to pay me to make it up to me? And I know John Jones made $30 million. I'm a bigger star than John Jones. You better double that. That's going to get dicey. That's going to get real dicey. And so my concern is Conor McGregor's price tag being too high and the UFC no longer being in the business of we need one particular athlete. If the president signs off on whatever card they've constructed, if they then make John Jones versus Alex Pereira, I think that's a good enough card, and I think they'll just move on.
Yeah, the more like you say that, and it's a great point you made about the contract. There is so much that can go wrong with Conor. There just is. This is going to be a 38-year-old man this year in July.
Yeah,
and a guy that's not been treating his body with the respect it needed. Like, I mean, with a guy, his fighting style, which is at the height of his power, was absolutely amazing. It was very reliant on athleticism, explosivity, timing, all these things that can get diminished with age. And as I said, like, it's not as if he's been wrapping himself in cotton wool. It's not as if, I can remember back in 2014, 2015, him being fascinated by the longevity protocol of LeBron James.
Yeah.
I don't know where that fascination went. Haven't seen it. I haven't seen anything even near it.
You think him and LeBron are living different lifestyles outside of the octagon and the hardwood?
Bit, mate. You know, just a little bit.
All right, so if we're worried about the contract, and then Dana White has come out several times saying he can't trust John Jones to be on the White House card, do we actually think either of them are going to be on it?
I think one or the other. My bet is still hedged toward John versus Alex, and it was my prediction. If Conor did come back, PT, what makes sense? To me, it would be, previously I said, do Ilya versus Harman, Justin versus Conor McGregor, or something that was like a reward that Justin wouldn't be too upset holding that interim title. It seems like all the direction the reporting is going toward Ilya versus Justin. To me, the one that makes the most sense is Paddy Pimblett. Is there a better option that I'm not thinking of?
I think it's probably the best fight that they can make from him.
Yeah.
Paddy's in a better situation because he lost to get the McGregor fight too.
Yeah.
And because obviously that would just put him straight into that Ilya situation. Like, it feels bad that, like, every time we talk about this, we have to preface the fact that, like, obviously, and I think I can categorically speak for all of us, we wish it was Armin v. Ilya, right? Like, that goes without saying. But we know it's not going to be. That's why we're kind of like talking about this Gaethje situation. But I think Paddy v. Conor, the build you could do for that, like, Paddy, the original reason I started watching Paddy Pimblett is because he started talking shit about McGregor in 2013. Severe MMA did an interview with him, and he just immediately started talking shit about everyone on SBG, Artem Lobov, Conor McGregor, all this stuff. Now, I know that they're on better terms now. There was that story going around recently where they were like, someone was saying Paddy was scared of Conor when he was in Liverpool, and Conor went to his house.
Conor showed up outside the house was the story.
Yeah, but that is true. He showed up outside the house, but it wasn't to beat up Paddy. It was to go drinking with Paddy. I remember very well at the time. I was still very
Paddy was
close
scared to go out and drink with him.
No, Paddy was asleep. Paddy is knocked out, probably
I'll fight
in a
him. I'm
food
just not
coma.
drinking with him, man.
No, he was in a coma. Like, he was out cold. He probably, like, had an enormous meal before all this, went to sleep, and he wakes up to these messages with people going, Conor McGregor's looking for you. He's outside your house. Fucking crazy. But at the time, I can remember, I don't know if it was Conor directly who told me or someone who told me, he was looking to party with Paddy. Like, he was looking to, like, you're the guy who knows this town, bring me about the place. Quite a storied weekend on Irish WhatsApp, that old trip to Liverpool for Conor McGregor back in the day.
We'll continue to wait with bated breath for that Instagram live notification for Dana White to announce the White House card. Do we get
Trump is going to announce it?
Oh, okay.
100%.
On the IG Live with
No, a separate.
Guess what, guys? Look who I'm with.
A State of the Union for the UFC. Do you think we get White House fights first or UFC 327?
White House.
That'd be crazy. 327 is like 6 weeks away.
White House.
And we have no idea what it's going to be. We'll see. Let's go back to the second part of that report from Alvaro Colmenero saying that Islam Makhachev looks like he's going to defend his belt against a natural welterweight meaning that it likely won't be against Ilia Topuria. And he says that Ian Gary is the front runner. An interesting note, to combine with that report, Ian Gary said this back in November on the potential of fighting Islam Makhachev.
I promise you, I told you at that interview, I'm coming to Georgia. I told all of you, I will come to Georgia because Georgia has phenomenal wrestling, phenomenal judo, phenomenal sambo. And when you are trying to prepare for someone like Islam Makhachev, I'm going to need that. So Georgia, I'm hollering to you guys. I'm going to need your help. So every southpaw wrestler, every guy that thinks he's going to be like Islam Makhachev, we need to find a place. I will see you there, and I will call for your help.
And then last night, posts on his Instagram story, he's catching a flight to Tbilisi, heading out to Georgia, I guess to train the wrestling to potentially prepare for Islam Makhachev.
Do we know that he actually got on a flight to Georgia, or could he have just taken a picture of a billboard of a flight to Georgia?
Or did he just Google, let's see, British Airways flight to Georgia.
Bro, this is AI.
Was it AI? Was it AI, Frankie?
Nah, I don't know that for sure.
No, I can't find anything. Can't find anything. I think that's legit. I think he is. Do we have any boots on the ground? Can we get a report from Marab Davashvili? Is Ian Gary officially in Tbilisi? She loves gloves.
She loves the gloves,
Great Georgian journalist. Can you confirm if Ian Gary is in the country of Georgia?
I mean, I hope he gets the fight. I think Islam will be quite happy with that fight too, in terms of, like, obviously Ian wants it. Ian's talked for a very long time, I'm going to be the guy to beat him. He's probably talked more respectfully about Islam than any person he's ever fought as well. There obviously is a previous fight between both people who come from similar necks of the woods that would be reheated. I actually saw Le Sur, great podcast in France. They did the full Dagestan v Ireland poster today with Usman, Paul, Habib, Connor, and Islam v Ian. And of course,
no, surely there's more than 3. There has the long history between
there's
these
been
two
fucking
countries.
17 this year, Rick.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like that's the truth of it. But look, it is something they can go to back to the well with, which I have no doubt they will. It's. I think he deserves a shot. Shavkat's out. Ian Gary is a guy that has been the Huckleberry many times for the UFC. I think he absolutely knows that people will know he said that about Georgia, and that's where he's putting it up. But honestly, I think it makes sense. I think it's a great fight. I'm very interested to see it. And to the point of Ali, was that Ali that quote was attributed to, where they said a natural welterweight?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ali on Twitter basically said it's not going to be somebody coming up like Ilya. It is going to be a welterweight.
Yeah, like to that point, I would say Ian weighs less than every welterweight on fight night. There has it's been reported before. He does not put himself through a rigorous weight cut. And look, his fighting style lends himself to that. Incredible movement. He's incredible movement. He's very fast. He pretty much has the same output in round 1 as he does in round 5 most of the time. I think that probably suits Islam a bit as well, because obviously he is long known as the 155 champion. A guy who is not going to get in there at, close to 200 pounds will suit him a lot better. And I don't think Ian does realistically weigh more than Islam on fight night should they fight, even though he's a lot taller man than Islam.
You mean as in contrast to somebody like, I don't know, Michael Morales, who's like 400 pounds by the time he steps into the cage? It's a big boy.
You think Ali's playing it that deep that he's like, it's going to be a natural welterweight. So not only not Ilia Topuria, but also Michael Morales, because he weighs too much.
He's a natural
He's not
middleweight.
A natural welterweight. I don't think he's digging that deep. I don't think.
No, but I think to Pizzi's point, which I agree with, I think it's an easier fight. And I 2 weeks ago,
certainly could see at that point of view, right? You could see a point of view of Habib looking at this fight going, I like this fight.
I like it way better, and that's why 2 weeks ago I said I would rather see Morales. I think Morales will be a stiffer test for Islam Makhachev for the same thing that you said, right? The size difference and his ability to strike at a range that most guys that, in that division are not going to be able to is more interesting to me. But if you're going by the merits, Ian Gary has stepped up for the UFC every single time and done exactly what he's been asked and delivered each time and fought more valiantly than I think people would have expected, right? In the fight against Shavkat Rakhmonov, I think he outperformed expectations in a major way. He completely blanked Carlos Praches. So I think he deserves, which is not a thing in MMA, I think he deserves the shot. I'm more interested in Morales, but this by no means not a good fight. I'm very interested in this one.
Also, good news. I can confirm Ian Gary posted on Instagram that clip of him at the press conference back in November. And he says, Georgia, I have arrived. So Ian Garishvili has officially been born.
No, he put the flag. I was going to propose, what if he takes a picture of Tbilisi, then he flies to Atlanta, Georgia, and says, I've arrived in Georgia. But he put the flag.
Bijan, Jared. Let's go.
Georgia, I have arrived, and it's him at a Hawks Heat game cheering on Jalen Johnson. A bit of good news out of the world of combat sports. Cain Velasquez has been released from prison after a 10-month stint after pleading no contest to a multitude of charges, including attempted murder following his arrest in 2022. But he has been freed. Here he is with his family afterward, just touching stuff to see him out of jail and back into his normal life. There it is, mariachi band, touching stuff to see him be released and rightfully reunited with his family. It's great stuff.
That's great.
Yeah. No, I mean, Cain Velasquez is, this is a tricky one. It's difficult because obviously the violence involved in this, right? Like
circumstances
combined with the
around
violence
is tough.
People would have a completely different reaction if I drove down the motorway shooting at a lad. That's all.
For sure.
Like, the context is important.
The context is important. But yes, I think many of us are on the side of Cain Velasquez should be walking free now, and he's on parole, and so. It's good to see, and we saw the reaction of like many of his contemporaries.
Yeah, we saw Daniel Cormier getting in there, who's obviously been backing him through this entire trial. My dog back home, welcome home, champ. Josh Thompson also posting a picture with Cain Velasquez, a older picture, but he says, welcome home, brother, tagging Cain. So great to see him.
Now we sure, because Josh Thompson said some shit there during the week too.
Josh Thompson got Ruben carded. Let's be real. He got Ruben, man. I have to say on the crack on Friday, I was dying when y'all were talking about Ruben Carter, and you were like, "It's a great sandwich. It's a great sandwich." Anytime I see it on the menu, it's the first thing that I go to order. Love myself a Ruben, but yeah, man.
Okay,
is Ruben Carter our NBA Centel?
No, because Centel is smarter and more believable.
Yeah. I mean, he does numbers every time he posts.
Do you know how it's embarrassing
this shit
to
is
get in
not
touch?
happening?
Okay, but here's
how embarrassing that is to get in touch with the Aspinall team, being like, "Is this guy named after a sandwich? He said this. We have a big article coming out today. Can you just confirm that this hasn't happened, please?" And they're like, "What the fuck?"
This feels like a very modern media contrivance, and I'll explain why. Ruben Carter puts out all these bullshit things all the time, right? And most of the time people don't fall for them. There's enough people, to your point, right? When Centel puts out something, everybody goes, Centel. And it's more the cleverness of it that people react to. Ruben Carter just like reports fake shit all the time. That's just what's happening. And so the modern media contrivance of this is that Josh Thompson, as somebody who has a platform and a media outlet in his own podcast, falls for this and then puts it out, and it's framed as Josh Thompson is saying, as opposed to Ruben Carter saying. Because Josh Thompson doesn't go, I read that tweet from this idiot Ruben Carter who puts out all this fake news, these reports. He just vaguely kind of references something, and then he's like, if this happens, it would be blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And now he has a platform in which he can do that, and people are going, oh no, Josh Thompson is saying it. He is, he does this, and he's reporting it. And now it becomes this mess of people just like then taking that and parceling that out, and an aggregation of this, and this, and this, and this. And so it starts with bullshit tweet that then becomes legitimized by somebody who has a platform and a voice accidentally without realizing that they're doing this.
Yeah, don't get
It's almost
Ruben
like
Carter.
the LASIK situation all over again.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Or even predates the LASIK situation. We've just jumped over. That's what happened. Let's fucking react to that. So,
Don't ever get Ruben. I'm with you, Pete. I only recognize two Rubens in this world. It's the sandwich and American Idol champion Ruben Studdard.
Shout out.
Legend. Absolute legend of the game. Those are the only Rubens that I recognize. I know you guys watched ZO3 this weekend, last night.
Of course. Yep.
Did you watch Karate Combat 59 on Friday?
I caught the highlights.
Caught the highlights as well. Walter Walker with a big submission win over Zion Clark.
Oh, shit. I did see this. Yeah, okay.
Oh, you didn't know what we were talking about, PT?
The big grappling match of the weekend? Dude, all right. Even though obviously Zion Clark is going to lose this bout, the dude is an absolute freak. Like, just being able to like grapple with this guy, you can't say enough. I'm glad that, look, like they kind of had a little levity with it, but also gave an opportunity for some real grappling. But as we see here, obviously the choke is going to be hard
Walter
to
Walker has
fight.
a massive physical advantage. Like, this was always how it was going to go. Like, that's what it was. It was more of a. It was kind of just a
funny
show to watch.
thing.
It was a meme that turned into a grappling match, and that's what it was. But what did come out of it, other than that, Walter Walker got on the mic afterward and called someone out. Take a listen.
Brad, I'm a little bit upset. I'm very upset because I call my brother to come here with me and he don't come. You see, Johnny Walker is not here. He don't come. I want to smash him. I have some kind of relationship very rich now with my brother. I want to smash him. I want to break his foot. I want to bring Johnny to here and show for him who is the real Walker. But if his wife let him come, everybody know his wife, his manager, his wife, his boss, needs to ask permission for his wife. If his wife let him come, let's fight for me.
All right, so Johnny Walker, a big boy. He could get up to heavyweight. We're going to see a Walker versus Walker at 265. Is that what's going to inject life into the heavyweight division?
Before we get into Walker versus Walker, can we just acknowledge Robin Black in the bubblegum pink suit,
President Awesome sitting on the side of the pit,
doing this mugging thing, reacting to this, Walter Walker just cut the promo of the century, holding his head. Oh
Walker
my
versus
God!
Walker!
And I'm just like, come on, guys.
YouTube thumbnail.
Yeah. Come on.
Doing the YouTube thumbnail, and then Zion Clark right there next to him in a grappling match that they just did, born out of a meme. And then he calls out his own brother. Johnny Walker did respond via Instagram. He says, "I am ashamed. He's choking an indefensible guy 4 times lighter than him and without legs. Very disrespectful. Take someone of your own size. You are shameful for the Walker legacy." At Walter Walker. This is why I did not come to the fight. It wasn't a fight. It was I can't even give it a name. Can someone tell me what it was, please? He doesn't deserve to use my name. He is not a Walker. I am very sad. I stand up for my family. Family is what I fight for, and he have no respect on my family, my wife, and my mom. He want me
is crazy here.
I mean, listen, Portuguese is the first language here. We're going into English. He want me to left my pregnant wife at home after he said bad shit about her online to come and support him to fight a disabled man? Ashamed. Very ashamed. Take my name out of yours.
Okay.
Break it down for us, BT.
My immediate feeling is... So one of the Walker brother who's just competed, heel hook Walker, he rings Johnny Walker and he says, "Here, listen, man, you're not going to believe what they're paying me for this." And he's like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, they're paying me 20 grand to come in here and have a grappling match." And Johnny's like, "My miss has a baby on the way, man. I could deal with earning 20 grand for a grappling match." He's like, "How about I just say I fucking hate you, and I want to beat the shit out of you in grappling." And the funny thing is, I'm really good at heel hooks. Our name is Walker. And I can say, "I will make sure you're never walkering again if you come and do this."
I'll put you in a walker. Let's go. I'll put you in a walker.
There we go. Way better.
You'll be using a walker. What was that, Dana?
Beating up babies.
Yeah.
Clarify it there again. Sorry?
This is like beating up babies.
And then
beating up babies.
Beating up babies. This is one that in 18 months, listeners are going to be like, "Yeah, I don't really know the genesis of that drop. What was that?"
Without the sex and beating up babies out of context are just unbelievable.
Beating up babies without the sex.
Beating up babies.
Thanks.
That's fucking illegal.
Welcome to the UFC.
This is like beating up babies.
Could not agree.
Who disagrees? Who disagrees with my prognosis?
Could not agree with you more, Pete. The funny thing is, though, Johnny Walker has always been like a pro wrestling character, right? From the the over the top celebrations, the way he carries himself, and now it feels like him and Walter have come up with this wrestling program that I think is perfectly suited to both of them. I love it.
You nailed it. You nailed it. Who leaves in with a Walker in Walker.
That was you,
versus
GC.
Walker.
I got a terrible one.
Look,
You
man,
got a
no,
much
no, no.
better
This is a brain trust. This is a meeting of the minds, and we're doing this for Karate Combat. We'll take the residuals, $20K each to them, $5K each to us. No worries. We'll handle poster design, all that. We got it. Don't even worry.
One of them should have to change their last name. Whoever loses.
Yeah.
That'd be so
Loser
good.
change his name. Loser change his name. I like that.
Oh, he's just Johnny Santos now. He changed his.
Oh
his name?
shit! Damn. Nah, it'll be if Walter loses, it'll be Walter Walker off because he just trains in Russia. He'll just add the OV onto the name. Another fight that went down on Karate Combat 59. Wing C back in the pit, getting a dub here up against Jaden Torres. Gets the takedown, couple hammer fists, and it was all over from there. Performance was okay. The best performance of the night was this right here. Goes up on the pit, backflip, lands the superhero stance. Little twirl into the breakdancing.
I'm upset. Like, is Peyton Talbot about this guy getting famous after he stole his tattoo? Like, he's like, this guy's never. I'm just going to take his tattoo. No one's ever going to notice. And now Wing C is, mainstream.
You know, the headband is also a tattoo. The Crusaders cross or whatever it is, also a tattoo. Like, that's,
Are you saying, PT, that maybe Peyton's going to get those tattoos as well now?
I mean, I think he's just been found out. I think everyone knows that Wing C was the originator. And it's be excited about Peyton Talbot. Yeah, he's a brilliant fighter. Oh, he's amazing to watch. He stole that man's tattoo. That's all I'm saying.
I think he admitted as much. So people do know. Do you see him dancing in the back?
You said the performance of the night was the celebration. I think this was the performance of the night.
Listen to the show. There it is.
Oh,
Dancing
shit.
for Alex Pereira, UFC light heavyweight champion.
You can see how into it Alex is.
Alex is unsure. Keeps the AirPods in.
All right, here we go.
He gives his
Doing the
Shama
Shama
shuffle.
Oh, the Shama Shuffle's not bad, though.
Do you think Wing C leaves and Alex Pereira's just like, who the fuck was that? Or do you think
Yes,
he's just
1000%.
do you think he's just saying it in Portuguese to his friends and he's just
Yes.
like, who the fuck is this?
Plino's over on the side and he's like, who is this man dancing in front of me?
Also, did the wings get smaller? Am I tripping? Or
They've
the
definitely
the wings
got smaller.
shrunk?
They've
Is that for
definitely
just
got smaller.
mobility and being able to move about the arena easier?
Got her.
He
Baby's
joined
got dancing
aerodynamic.
wings.
when he joined Helwani, he had like full like all the way down, went like gigantic wings. So nice to see him in the win column. Malcolm Schuler getting it done over Jaden Lee by first round.
PT's a big Wing C guy, so I'm just glad he got to witness that.
His actual name is Winged Carol. He's actually my cousin.
That's what it's short for. Winged Carol. Saw some tweets over the weekend of top flyweight contenders and the flyweight champion, Manel Kopp and Josh Van going back and forth. Someone posted Josh Van losing to Charles Johnson, and Manel Kopp quote tweeted it. Just the thought of it gives me chills. They're literally protecting you from a murder that could happen alive. I think he's kind of saying like they're protecting you from me murdering you on like live TV. Obviously, Josh Van knocked out by Charles Johnson in the summer of 2024. And then there were some tweets reporting potential fights taking place, and Manel Kopp came out and said otherwise. Octagon Pulse,
shout out.
Maybe under the same vein as an RC Ruben Carter. They say Joshua Van versus Manel Kopp is officially, you got to trust it when it's all capped officially, in the works as UFC 326 co-main event. I love the officially in all caps, followed by...
They have the siren too, GC, which usually means it's true.
Fuck. How did I not notice the siren off rip?
Siren breaking.
There's nothing like officially and then immediately following up with in the works. All right, so they've officially started working on this one. Manel Kopp, Josh Van, UFC 326 Kona main event, which is less than 3 weeks away at this point. Manel Kopp quote tweets it and says, fake news. I am not fighting my quote unquote son, Josh Van. My team and I have been pushing for this fight since my last one. However, according to the UFC, they had already promised the title shot to Tatsuro Taira after he defeated Brandon Royval. I think he means Brandon Moreno. Even knowing that, we kept pushing to make this fight happen on March 7th. UFC told us there was a strong possibility. I was already cutting weight by Monday. I was down to 144 pounds. In the end, the UFC decided not to move forward with the fight because of the short time. We keep moving forward, patient as always. And believe me, patience is something I've mastered. Champions soon, inshallah. So, Manel Kopp saying it's going to go to Tatsuro Taira.
Yeah, naturally you think it has to be probably Taira, right? And understandably. Like there's a lot of different options that it could have been. I would have been happy with Kopp. I would have been happy with Taira. Hell, I would have been happy with Horiguchi. Like there's really good options here. You keep the division moving, and then when Pantoja is ready to come back, you do it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where that fight takes place as well. Obviously, maybe it's on 327 in Miami, or maybe it's on the May pay-per-view in a location that we do not know yet. And also, just for clarity, he was definitely talking about Brandon Moreno because Tatsuro Taira lost to Royval back in 2024.
Before you move on, I got word from Frank that Pizzi has a heart out and he must leave us. He has requested.
You're a tough man to book.
He has requested.
You're a tough man to book, Pete.
Heading into town, bottle service, the whole lot right now.
Hey, shout out.
Outside in the car, you know what I mean? What can I do? My life has completely changed since last week. 30 million for the kitchen scrap.
30 million, I was saying 30 million for the next article, Pete.
No,
we're in negotiation.
Shaheen Al-Shadi is sweating right now, thinking about this.
I essentially broke.
We actually have to write another one. I thought that would do.
That was it. You're done. You're done.
No. We need follow-ups on each doctor's appointment after this. You have to go with him. You're going to know this man's health insurance plan inside and out. You're going to know everything. Pete essentially broke the news last week. Emerald Isle, though, brother. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, I cannot wait. It's going to be fantastic. It's great because actually every member of the team is going to be in Ireland this year, apart from Frank, which warms my fucking heart.
Let's go.
Pay me what you owe me, bastard.
Listen, as I told you, Frank, the funny thing about it is I am fucking loaded as well. I would not miss it. I could send you a grand
loaded
tomorrow and not even know. I'll be like, I don't even care.
Am I the first one to go, Pete? Am I the first one that's going to be out there?
Yeah, first one on this crew. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go.
So it's going to be wild. We're going to climb some fucking mountains. We're going to swim in some oceans.
Are you going to the ones that you sent me? No,
I don't think. But we're going to go to some fucking lovely places. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
It's going to be fantastic. Right. It's going to be. We'll sort everything out. What are we're hopping in the 2015 Nissan Sentra? What is it?
Shh, it's a Bentley. Shut up.
All right, Pete. Thanks for joining us.
Paul Hughes is right. You're posh.
See you later, boys. Good luck.
Bye. Thanks, man. Speaking of Ireland, we did get a post from Geo Edish on Instagram in reference to Ian Gary. It looks like he took a selfie with him. He says Ian Gary is in Gorey, which I would assume is a city in Georgia, sharpening and strengthening his wrestling here. If you want a serious matchup with Islam Makhachev, the Gorey Wrestling School is the right and optimal choice. Best of luck to our Irish brother. So Ian Gary's in Georgia, and it looks like he's prepping for a fight against Islam Makhachev.
I mean, as PT laid out, I echoed, he deserves it, right? Like Ian Gary has done everything the UFC's asked, right? Step up against killers. These guys that are the other ones that everybody's talking about deserve title shots, right? Like before Shavkat had the injury, people were like, Shavkat's the guy. Carlos Praches on the rise, supposed to be the next big thing. Ian Gary stops that. He has earned his place and the opportunity to fight Islam Makhachev. But to Pete's other point, I don't know that this is going to be a very difficult night for Islam. It remains to be seen. The other thing about Ian is I and many others have thought, this is not going to be his fight and counted him out. And then he ends up, bucking the trend and exceeding expectations. So maybe he can do it one more time. He's kind of been, a prognosticator of his own success. He's been able to kind of foresee the path. And so now he's getting that title opportunity, despite, he loses to Shavkat and it feels like, okay, maybe this is like where this kind of goes the other direction. But he was able to stay active, get big wins, and now he's right back in there.
And I am getting word from On Air Jordan that if he did fly into Tbilisi, Gorey is just a short 10-hour drive away. So he took the scenic route.
Hour 10.
Oh, hour 10. Oh, Gorey, short hour 10 drive from Tbilisi. A little bit of dyslexia they're working on.
It's all good. You've been on
10-hour drive would have been a little rough.
Bro could have walked. Bro could have jogged over there at that point. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if that gets announced. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Gordon Ryan cracked the code.
He did?
He knows the secret. He let everyone know how you can beat Khabib and Khamzat. Here's what he had to say.
And so the combination of heisting when his weight is leaning back, and then when the weight goes to lean forward towards your hands, and he goes to drive forward towards you, going into Granbies and using a series of Granbies and heists to get up and away is like the best combination. And then throwing submissions in there where you can roll to leg locks off of those Granbies, or use it to go to triangles, things like that. But using a combination of heisting rolling and submissions is like the way to beat people. People either just go into ice or they just go into rolls. They don't really chain them together too well.
All right.
Thanks to Frank for letting Gordon Ryan yell at us.
My God. Get the heist in the Grammys. Gordon Ryan breaks it down there. It's just as easy as that.
That's it.
The guys who are a combined 44-0 in their MMA careers, that's as easy as that. Hamzat took to Instagram and responded. He said, "Big bullshit. That is not how you beat me." And then Joaquin Buckley, who's been weighing in on everything lately, he says, "Let's get you on the show." Obviously, this coming from the Overdogs podcast, so Joaquin weighs in. "Let's get you on the show explaining why it's bullshit." And Hamzat responds to Joaquin and says, "You too, same shit." So yeah, Hamzat takes the opportunity to just not pulling the punches on anyone there and shits on Joaquin Buckley as well.
I do appreciate the insight from Gordon there. Like the idea of like a guy who is such a high level grappler to say like,
this is how you would do it if you can accomplish
this is what you try to do, right? Like he's essentially said, whether this will work or not work, you don't know. And especially it's different when Gordon Ryan says it versus executes it, right? I'm confident that Gordon Ryan can do the things he's talking about. I'm not confident that anybody else who's not as good as Gordon Ryan in the ground is going to have as easy a time executing the kind of game plan that he's laid out. But he is the highest of level grapplers, as are Hamzat Chimaev and Habib Nurmagomedov. So the idea that like he's like, okay, I've identified where everybody's kind of failed. They're doing one or the other of those things is an interesting insight. But as I said, the execution is the hard part. Somebody as good as Gordon Ryan, yeah, like you can probably put together a strategy and figure out how to do it. These other opponents are not the level of grappler that Gordon Ryan is. You just can't be. You cannot be. This is the cream of the crop. To be a Habib, to be a Hamzat, to be a Gordon Ryan, that has to be your primary focus. And a lot of these guys are just not that level of grappling.
Well, Sean Strickland thinks otherwise.
Okay.
He came out and said that he can be the one at middleweight to dethrone Hamzat Chimaev. Take a listen.
I think I'm probably the only one that could beat Chimaev. I honestly think Fluffy's a better wrestler than Chimaev. Like, I think pace-wise, style-wise, I think over 5 rounds, Fluffy's probably a better, but then stand-up, I think Chimaev might take him to a stand-up decision. So, I don't know, man. It's kind of weird what the UFC did with Chimaev. You brought a guy in that fights once a year who's like Madonna, who probably gets like, how much money does that dictator give him on the table? Like, the guy doesn't need to fight, dude. He's best friends with a warlord, Like, he doesn't need to fight. Dude gets gifted G-Wagons. So you have somebody who, like, he's just going to sit on that belt and wait until they force him to fight. And then, like, he wanted to fight Nasruddin or something, whatever the guy's name is. He's like, oh, I don't want to fight you, my brother. Like, what are you talking about? It's not how this sport works, dude. Don't be go fight that guy.
Man, when you take out the audio for every time he says the F word, you really realize how often he says the F word.
Sounds like he's stuttering.
He's saying it that much. He thinks Fluffy Hernandez better wrestler, especially
Do you agree with
5
that?
rounds. Ooh, man, I don't know.
No, I don't.
After watching Hamzat Chimaev rack up 22 minutes of control time over DDP to win the belt, I'm not as sold. I actually think that Anthony Hernandez is probably going to cause some issues for Sean Strickland this weekend in Houston.
I agree. We'll do a preview of that on Thursday like we normally do. I don't agree that Anthony Hernandez is a better grappler than Hamzat Chimaev, although I do agree Anthony Hernandez is a hell of a grappler, and that's going to be a difficult problem to solve for Sean Strickland. But I can't deny I really want to see Sean Strickland versus Hamzat Chimaev. And if he can pull it off against Anthony Hernandez, I think that's the most... Look, Nasruddin Imavov is... He's right there, but if you're doing based on interest, and what we've kind of been talking about for the last couple of weeks is like, Jalton Almeida, out. The UFC is prioritizing entertainment. Entertainment is going to be Sean Strickland prodding and poking at Hamzat Chimaev all fight week to the point that Hamzat Chimaev might explode on him. And that's what you're hoping for, right? If you're the UFC, you're hoping for a big moment. I think Sean Strickland is more capable of delivering that as a foil to Hamzat Chimaev than Nasruddin Imavov is. Does Nasruddin Imavov deserve a title shot? Absolutely, no doubt. But again, that's not what this business is anymore. So would I be shocked if Sean Strickland was able to jump the queue? Probably not, especially considering how infrequently Khamzat fights, right? If you're only getting one Khamzat fight a year, you should probably make it count, and it should probably be Sean Strickland. But he has work to do to get past Fluffy Hernandez before we even think about any of this.
Yeah, he's a fair-sized dog in that fight taking place in H-Town this weekend. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if he's eventually the one to hand Khamzat Chimaev his first loss. The man that Khamzat Chimaev took the belt from, Dricus du Plessis, this is what he had to say about him one day dethroning the champ.
Fighting Khamzat again is, of course, what I'm after. Expecting any surprises? No. There's not going to be any surprises. I mean, that is the way he's going to fight. And if he tries anything different, it will be a terrible night. We all know that. But he did what he had to win that belt. We can't hate on him for that. You know, he did what he needed to do. It's the rules of the game, and he did it. So saying that, you know, it's not fair, it is fair. He did what he had to do. Not how I would win my belt or would like to, but that's what he did. And now it's my responsibility to go and fix that, to stop him from doing that again.
Yeah, so DDP essentially saying, if he does anything other than wrestle, I will take the belt back. If you're Khamzat Chimaev, I would imagine you'd be like, if we rematch, I'm going to wrestle again.
If you're Shaquille O'Neal and you do anything other than dunk, I got a good shot. But if you dunk on me, like, it's not going to...
It's probably not going to go well.
Go well for me. I respect DDP's gameness and wanting another crack at Khamzat Chimaev because, as you can imagine, that type of performance is probably a bit demoralizing from the perspective of like, man, I really just can't do anything with this guy, right? Like he's just controlled me the entire time. But I do think there's a world where DDP has a different game plan and is able to, you know, do better and improve on the performance. I don't know about the prospect of Khamzat Chimaev not wrestling though. That would be an insane thing.
Man, at this point, I just want to see DDP back. It's been 6 months since that fight, and like we have
who would he come back against? Who do we want to see? What does the middleweight landscape look like?
I mean, if Sean Strickland somehow beat Fluffy Hernandez and got the Khamzat Chimaev fight, I wouldn't mind Imavov versus DDP.
God, Imavov would be getting hosed, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Even if he doesn't get the title shot. Yeah, I mean, that's the tough part is matchmaking for DDP at this point at middleweight.
You could do Fluffy versus DDP.
Yeah, if he wins. Yeah, kind of like a title eliminator to get.
Imavov gets the shot, and then Fluffy versus DDP.
I don't mind
You feel bad for Fluffy, too, though. It almost feels like, God.
How many in a row has Fluffy won? 6?
Some big number.
He's starting to get up there. And obviously a massive win over Sean Strickland this weekend, if he's able to get it done, would be huge for him.
Or do you come back lower down? Do you do like Kaio versus DDP or something? Do you come back to like a 7 range?
Yeah, I think you need to stay at the top if you're DDP. Fluffy has won 8 in a row. This would be 9.
Crazy.
You're putting him in like Lerone Murphy.
That's what I'm saying.
Bilal territory, Leon Edwards territory of like needing to win 10 in a row. And like he's exciting. He gets finishes and like fans like him. I know he's not a massive superstar, but like, bro, 9 wins in a row. Like you really got to start talking about getting that title shot. Nate Diaz last week was talking about slapping up everyone coming back, BMF belt. He did go on Twitter and he clarified his words. He apologized. I didn't say I'd slap Max Holloway. I said that about Oliveira, but I shouldn't have said that either. It was rude and I was effed up. If we were fighting in a cage match, I might attempt it, but that was rude. I shouldn't have said that. My bad, bros. All respect, though.
I can hear Nate Diaz saying that. Like when he's like he's like half laughing, being like, "Nah, I didn't mean that." Like I can picture and hear Nate Diaz talking about that. Yeah, and he's like half.
All respect, though.
Yeah.
All respect, though. It's all good. It's all good. I honestly, I wouldn't want to slap Charles Oliveira either. He's posting some pictures of him looking absolutely jacked. It looks like he was doing a deadlift.
Oh boy, that's a beef boy right there.
Big boy. The only thing. How many plates is that on each side? 1, 2, 3, 4. That'd be like a 45 times 4. That's like 180 plus a 35. We're talking about like 250.
Who's the check?
Side 430 plus the bar. Like we're talking about 475 deadlift. What's going on with the bar on the right side there as well? What's going on with that?
What are you talking about?
I mean, we're talking about a straight metal bar, and it just seems to drop off. Goes in.
Just an optical illusion, man.
It's curved.
Optical illusion. Optical illusion.
I didn't notice that before, but I am noticing now that the bar.
I don't know what's going on there.
If you drew a straight line from either end of that bar through Charles Oliveira's body, it looked like they'd be in two different
matches up. No chance it matches up. Also, the amount of weight isn't written that clearly. I just don't know what's going on.
Okay, but to get this jacked, you do have to lift that type of weight.
Oh, yeah,
he looks
for sure.
he looks like an action hero.
Oh, he's jacked. There's no doubt about it. He's in great shape. I don't know what's going on with the bar there.
What about the canteen wire at the top that just like only covers 1/3 of the fence?
Can I see? Can I see it?
It's like you could just move around it.
Canteen wire.
You know, like
You mean
barbed wire?
Oh, yeah.
He's saying it doesn't cover the other.
Yeah, what is that?
It's just it's
I don't know what's going on here.
it's a hint of security.
Because like it nailed his tattoos and stuff. I don't know.
The tattoos are easy to do. That wire, that'll get you.
I don't know what's going
Are
on.
you suggesting it's AI? Is that what you're suggesting?
Is the hairline cooked in this pic?
I think it's different.
What's going on with that? Is the hairline cooked?
Can you just say
got a
what you
good head
mean?
of hair.
Are you guys saying that this is an AI photo?
I don't know, man.
Who's to check?
Is this AI?
I don't know, bro. Who's to check is right. Who's to check is
Who,
right.
me?
Nate Diaz talked with TMZ about potential next matchups. Here's what he had to say.
Besides that, I'm doing a real fight. I would like to fight. I'd like to fight somebody. Man, for the right price. I'm ready to get back in real action. I want to fight either McGregor 3. I want to fight maybe Dustin Poirier if he's happy to the pussy, and then maybe Mike Perry. We'll see what happens in the future, though.
You want the White House card?
Yeah, that'd be dope too.
McGregor on the White House card?
America gang, baby. You already know what's popping.
I love it.
America gang. I love that.
Who'd he say? McGregor 3, Poirier. Who was the last one that he mentioned?
Somebody else.
Yeah, I actually couldn't even hear him, but I do love how he's just like McGregor trilogy, Dustin because he's a pussy. White House card, yeah, America for sure. All right, peace, guys.
But by the way, those are exactly the fights I'd want for Nate
Oh my
Diaz.
God, yeah.
Conor McGregor.
Oh, he said Mike Perry is the last one.
Mike Perry's not bad.
I those first two, I'm in. McGregor 3 or Dustin Poirier.
Yeah, for UFC, that's the list.
Dustin Poirier responded on Twitter. Said belt to ass at Nate Diaz. Short and sweet for the Diamond. Do we feel like the Diamond is really retired?
No, never did. Never felt that way. He's too good. He is too good to be retired. That's the problem. It's like LeBron James. Like LeBron James is not going to retire because he's still freaking amazing. Dustin is still really good. And so the idea that somebody would pay him a lot of money to fight in a big fight, like a Nate Diaz versus Dustin Poirier, is still real. And so I would not expect him to stay retired. And if you could do a lot worse than Dustin versus Nate, that feels like it could headline a card, no problem.
Hell yeah. We'll see on the return of both Nate Diaz and Dustin Poirier. In that same interview where Islam talked about wanting to fight on the White House card, he talked about someone that gave him a great business idea. Take a listen.
I've seen a video you and Anthony Joshua were talking about your probably most famous sentence, most famous quote, 2 or 3 years to Dagestan, and everybody.
Yeah, he showed me, he told me, I want to make t-shirts. And I said, I'll tell him, okay, I will give you approval. You can make it. And you have to also come to Dagestan to improve your wrestling. You know, this guy is huge, big, very good striking, one of the best boxer in the world. If this big guy improve his wrestling, can you imagine how good he's going to be in MMA?
So at the PFL card, he talked with Anthony Joshua. I mean, 2-3 years, Dagestan.
He gives him the
shirts. That's gold.
He gives him the sign off. No royalties. Like I would have been like, no, let me make them, or you got to pay me on the back end.
I would have looked him dead in the eye. I would have been like, nah, man, I'm not really trying to make those, dude. I appreciate that. Thanks for coming by the locker room. I'll see you later, man. And then as soon as he leaves, turn around and be like, we have to fucking start making 2-3 years Dagestan and forget t-shirts right now.
Do you think when he said the line that he had any clue that this was going to be the most viral line?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would think about buying a t-shirt that said 2-3 years Dagestan and forget.
It's an incredible line. It's so simple and so perfect. But he had to just be thinking like exactly that, like send this person there, and he was being 100% genuine. And now it's become this, it has taken its own life to the point that Anthony Joshua, global superstar, just fought on Netflix for millions of dollars, maybe not hundreds, maybe double-digit millions, is like, yeah, I got to make t-shirts with those slogan you said on it.
It's like you see it almost everywhere. I see like AI edits of like Pixar movies like Dagestan and Forget. Like that thing, it's just like that huge. It's also so good. He really did mean it. He was just like, obviously he was talking to Cormier in the interview, and he's like, bro, seriously, send your kid to Dagestan for 2-3 years and just like forget about him, dude.
Yeah.
Like an investment portfolio.
Exactly.
Just buy the stocks and then forget about it. You know, just set it and forget it. But at the end, he says AJ should come over to MMA.
Yeah. Not happening.
Can't see it happening.
Definitely not happening.
The amount of money that he makes in boxing and how good he is at boxing and where he's at in his career, absolutely no chance that he's coming over to MMA.
But what if he spends 2 or 3 years in Dagestan? Let's see what happens.
I think AJ responded to that and was like, maybe 2-3 weeks. Maybe 2-3 days is what I'm actually feeling. Speaking of Anthony Joshua, he did get a tattoo in honor of his 2 close friends who passed away in that tragic car accident back at the end of December. Sinagami and Latif Latz, Ayodele Latz, and Sina written on his arm now forever. So it was nice to see him make that tribute. Touching stuff, obviously, and still reeling and dealing with that, you know, still fresh. It's only been a month and a half since it happened, and these were lifelong companions of his.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about, but he does seem to be out and about and having fun, like this moment he had with Isam. Like, good to see him just like out of that mind frame and thinking about it, but, you know, obviously still on his mind with the tribute.
Absolutely. Mikey Musumeci competing this weekend at UFC BJJ. In an interview, he called out his next opponent, and it might surprise you who it is.
Okay.
I really want to fight Arman. Not fight. Definitely not fight. Let's change the F word out of this one. Grapple Arman. He's incredible, but he called out my friend Tom Hardy in a grappling match. And my friend Tom Hardy is an actor that's a purple belt. Like, he was a purple belt, now he's a brown belt. Congrats, Tom. But I just don't like that he did that. Like, he could grapple actually a grappler. You know, I'm lighter than him, so I'll just go up and face him. Like, that would be a really fun match for everyone. Can I face him? He's so much bigger and stronger. Can I beat him? We'll see.
And when would you want that to happen? What's the timeline for that?
Send me a location.
I mean, say less, man. Arman Sarukian is always down for a grappling match.
Yeah.
Every time I log onto Twitter, the dude's got another one booked.
I do like that the genesis of this, as explained by Mikey Musumeci, is that he's defending the honor of Tom Hardy. Like, that's an interesting way to get to an Arman Sarukian grappling match. I'd watch the hell out of it if they did that for UFC BJJ. I wonder if they'd want Arman. It almost feels like they're more keen on like the you go grapple outside the UFC, because like if they lose, it's not. But if he comes into the UFC orbit and is grappling Mikey, let's say he loses there, it could be potentially damaging to the idea of how dominant Arman could be. Or if he beats Mikey, let's say this UFC guy comes in and beats Mikey in a grappling match, that doesn't help for your UFC BJJ champion. I wonder if they'd be into it. I imagine Arman's making more money than UFC BJJ money for some of these other grappling matches. But I'm down. I'm definitely down. Mikey is a fantastic grappler, and I'd like to see what Arman could do against a top-level guy like that. But
let's get Arman booked in a UFC fight. I don't need.
Nah, he's got his RAF fight coming up. His RAF.
Oh yeah, we got the RAF wrestling.
The guy who offers $1,000 for stopping team.
Yeah, yep.
Don't forget.
Arman ended his Armenian tour with Jake Paul with a light snack out in the snow. Was that a little caviar?
Cheers. Cheers.
Jake Paul living life, man.
For having me.
I thought Jake was going to ask him about the Mikey call out.
Thank you for coming.
I always do this. Good luck.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta do two. For the animal, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, wasting the caviar, man.
No, it's for the animal.
You ever had caviar?
Yeah.
I've never had caviar, bro.
Oh,
Not
it's
built
quite
like
good.
that.
Stuff, man.
Yeah,
It's good. It's good. Yeah, I've heard good things about it. Arman loves it.
You and Arman fight feast eating caviar.
Yeah, we just try a bunch of different caviar. Actually, we just get the giant plates and the thing that he puts it on, and just do the the things that he was.
I mean, that'd be fantastic. By the way, speaking of fight feast,
I was gonna say, speaking of fight feast, go over to Action Bronson channel now to watch Fuck That's Delicious, the Fuck That's Delicious Fight Feast collab. You might see a familiar face on the thumbnail, eh? No, shout out to Action Bronson.
It's pretty cool.
Life-changing stuff, bucket list type stuff, getting to go around New York eating with them.
You're being humble. You are a central figure in an episode of Fuck That's Delicious for this new season, hanging out with Action Bronson. It was an incredible day.
I look forward to the comments, to reading the comments.
Fuck no, man. Fuck Connor.
Exactly. That. who is that bald fuck? Who is this corny-ass bald fuck?
Beating up babies.
You are being vouched for. You are being certified by a legend in Action Bronson. Who cares what they say?
Did I tell you I was at the gym one time and a guy came up to me and he was just like, dude, I saw you in an eating video with Action Bronson. I was like, oh shit,
You're like, fuck yeah.
That was real.
Action Bronson's the fucking man.
The absolute man. Shout out to him. Congrats on the newest season of FTD. Highlights some incredible restaurants here in New York. A feel-good story taking place in the UFC. Josiah Harrell has signed back with the UFC after going through brain cancer treatments. Originally, he was supposed to fight Jack Della Maddalena, I believe, back in 2023. He now finds himself back in the organization after undergoing brain surgery and treatment. He is 4-0 since his diagnosis. And I remember when this happened, he was prepping for the fight and was going through medicals, and that's how they found the brain disease. So incredible to see him return after going through brain surgery is absolutely insane. I actually think that's how we got the JDM Basil Hafez fight back in the summer of 2023. So congratulations to Josiah Harrell and returning, man. I hope it's nothing but success for you, because that's incredible to be able to overcome that.
What a story. What a story.
Another return we might be seeing soon. Not in the octagon, but a potential grappling match. The biggest what if, that's what they like to call him. Zabit Magomed Sharapov has a grappling match booked at ACBJJ in 2026. We'll get the details on it as it goes along. I think, if I'm not mistaken, is ACBJJ just the BJJ sector of ACB, like UFC BJJ?
It might be. I'm not 100% sure.
It looks like the same.
The logo looks the same.
Yeah, it looks like the same logo. So it would make sense. And then one other one.
But that's interesting just from the perspective that I think, unless I'm mistaken, this is going to be the first competition we will see Zabit in since retiring from the UFC.
Let me confirm that for you. It sure is. Last fought 2019 against Calvin Kattar.
Yeah, that's nuts because of how crazy, hyped everybody was around him and what a prospect he was. Seeming like one of those guys that it was almost inevitable to be champion, and then walking away in his absolute prime, or even maybe prior to hitting his prime, and we haven't seen him. And there's always been would he ever come back? The whispers, the biggest what if, and now it's like he's actually going to be in competition is significant in my mind.
Yeah, for sure. And he used to fight in ACB. He had 6 fights in that organization, so I do think ACB and ACBJJ are tied. Also, just a clarification on Josiah Harrell. It was not cancer. It was just a rare brain disease that he got surgery to remove. So don't want to misinterpret what he had to go through. Another person we may see in the octagon soon is currently playing in another sport. Jaylen Brown was asked about what is he going to do afterward, what plans and this and that. This is what he had to say.
To be honest, I've toyed with this. I've talked to some people, maybe postpartum my career, I would love to partake in something like UFC or even boxing. I've talked to Dana White about some stuff, but we'll see as things go on. We'll see. So.
Obviously, a Boston Celtics player, Dana White, a diehard Boston Celtics fan. 6'6", 223. You think we can make the cut down to 205?
He's playing at a near MVP level of basketball. I don't imagine he wants to slum it in the UFC.
You don't think so?
It'd be hard for me to imagine a 100 millionaire the caliber of Jaylen Brown deciding let me just give this fighting shit a go. It typically is the high-level athlete who's washed out of the stick and ball sports, like a Greg Hardy, who the NFL was done with at a certain point, as opposed to a guy who's firmly in his prime and might make $1 billion in his career if he sticks with it and gets multiple contracts. It would be bizarre to see him in the UFC. But his coach, Mike Mazzulla? Yes.
Joe Mazzulla.
Joel Mazzulla. I was like, I know that didn't sound right. Joe Mazzulla is a huge MMA fan, trains martial arts, so maybe he's gotten it in his year.
So you're saying the guy averaging 29, 7, and 5, who signed his Supermax extension in 2023, 5 years, $285.4 million, doesn't want to sign a 10 and 10?
Nah.
To fight
Contenders?
people?
You want to fight on Contender Series, Jalen? How's that sound? No.
Look, we're just not looking to sign you. You fought to a decision. We can't sign you. That contract is insane.
Okay, actually, he's not going to scratch $1 billion, but he's gonna make a lot of money.
God, you say not scratch. He might come close. My goodness. He might make $500 million.
Yeah, well, if he signs one more deal, he's already there because his deal is going to be more than this 250.
But yeah, I don't think that's happening.
No. It's the more people do talk about MMA and the UFC in particular in this light and this circumstance, though, I do think it helps the sport get some notoriety. I do think this type of thing helps when it's like, oh, it can feel like we're in this bubble. It can feel like we're in this niche. So when it's like Joe Mazzulla or Jaylen Brown are like, yeah, I love UFC, I love MMA, or we hear Chris Stapps and he's talking to Ariel all the time. It does expand the horizons a little bit.
For sure. Frank, we've got a bit of breaking news, my friend.
Uh-oh.
This according to Mike Coppinger via Inside the Ring on X. Mike Tyson versus Floyd Mayweather exhibition is tentatively set to take place on April 25th in the Congo. Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather exhibition.
I forgot.
Congo.
I forgot when they had talked about this. When was that? Last year or was that earlier this year?
No, it wasn't earlier. I think it's been several months since this was originally discussed.
Man, I can't believe they're still doing that, huh?
Tentatively set to take place. What could go wrong with a tentatively set to take place in the Congo?
Breaking. Siren. Breaking. In the works.
Breaking. Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather officially in the works.
Parentheses, probably maybe.
No. Tentatively set to take place on April 25th in the Congo. Shout out to the Congo. Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather. We need it. That's what when I see this fight, that's what I think. We need it.
I think a lot of people will watch this.
We'll watch.
I don't think anybody will be interested in that. Is that fair? I think people will watch it because of how ridiculous it is, the spectacle of it, but nobody will actually care about the outcome.
The outcome does not matter at all. The only reason
I'll come back out and say well, Mike shouldn't be boxing.
Probably.
No, because it's exhibition.
Yeah, I guess so. The only reason I'm tuning in is hopefully we get another Mike Tyson locker room ass shot.
You just want to see Tyson's ass in the jockstrap? You just want to see Tyson booty cheeks?
All right. Everything we have said on this program has led us to this moment. We got all the BS out of the way. We got a major announcement from the UFC last week, and we haven't talked about it until now. The Ultimate Fighting Championship has officially released its very own fragrance line. There it is. One more time for me, Frankie. Oh, many people are going to be making those noises when they get a whiff of the takedown or the final round or the ultimate KO.
Okay,
you can smell
the bottles
like a world champion.
Are actually really nice, though.
No respect, the bottles are fucking sick. I kind of want to buy it just for the bottle. Where does the spritz come out? Do we know? Do you push the thumb down and it spritzes?
No, I think that's probably a cover, right? You have to take it off and then the spritz is underneath.
You got to think that the gold glove, the final round, smells the best because it's $10 more expensive. You got to respect the ultimate KO.
Wait, are they selling it through Amazon? Is the UFC store?
No, it does. It does look
Amazon
like it's
store.
I actually think this is the UFC store on Amazon, probably.
Okay.
I'm going for the combo bundle that comes with the Octagon, but you got to get the ultimate KO in that iconic UFC red glove.
What is the iconic glove that's never been worn before? What is the Octagon part? What is that combination?
I have no idea. Let's see.
It's part of the box.
It's only $5 more.
It probably is the box.
But then why was that one $5 more?
Because you get the box.
The other one, you don't get the box?
I don't know.
The bottles are smaller. See where it says... Yeah, I don't know anymore, actually.
UFC fragrance.
Frank with No, obviously. Don't you understand? And then being like, oh, actually.
Yeah, thanks for that, Frank. Man. Okay, so it looks like I'm on it now.
It looks like there's an extra can of something there.
Yeah, it looks like you get a UFC takedown cologne for men and body spray set.
Okay, so you get a body spray.
It doesn't look like it. Oh yeah. It looks like the Octagon is no a body spray. I don't know what the fuck the Octagon is. I'm going to be totally honest with you. Just a breakdown of each.
Yeah. Tell me about the notes.
Yep.
Tell me about the scents.
Yep. The the black and gold one. What is that one called? Can we get a name on that one?
Did you
no,
say
that's the
knockout
takedown.
something?
The black one is the takedown. That's going to be a marine amber perfume, mint, pepper, patchouli in the notes, tangerine, petite gran. And it opens with an energizing rush that sets a confident tone. This men's cologne delivers crisp freshness that makes it a standout men's perfume.
Okay, so where are you wearing this one? What's your game plan for this one? What's this?
This might be an everyday wear. This might be an everyday wear.
This is a driver.
Yeah. This is a driver. The pictures that go along with it are Max, Charles, Alex, and Marab. Let's see if there's different ones for each of them.
All right, tell me about
they're all the same one.
Tell me about the other scents.
Okay, so the Ultimate KO.
That's the gold one?
That's the iconic red UFC glove. Opens with a spicy cardamom, fresh lavender, orange, delivering a bold and energizing first impression. This men's cologne captures confidence and charisma, making it a standout men's perfume for any occasion. Dynamic, hearty notes of sage, orange blossom, and a caramel blend to create a warm core that balances sweetness and herbal depth. This feels like a wintry cologne, something you're going to wear out in the cold.
Is this a date, though? It says like first impression.
Yeah, I like that. Cedarwood, dried amber is what you're going to be getting. I bet it actually smells pretty good, like everything there's.
Oh, we're going to order all three, so we're going to.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to need to do a scent test for all of these. And then lastly, the final round. This feels like a late night vibe. You're going to go to a cocktail bar after hours. Striking top notes of saffron, lemon, and black pepper create an energizing opening. Okay, did they say that on every one of them? Energizing opening that ignites confidence and intensity.
Oh.
Yeah, delivers bold freshness and makes a standout men's perfume for any moment that demands deep impact. I love it. Deep, hearty notes of vanilla, leather, labdanum, and creates a rich and textured center that feels refined. Yeah, this aromatic core sets it apart from men's fragrances and reinforces why it stands strong within men's perfumes. Love it. That sounds like the winner right there. Get that one for the late night dates.
I'm picturing Connor Burks.
Yep.
At the crib.
Yes, sir.
Hey, let me cook for you. Lady comes over.
Lights
You're
are
wearing
down.
it. Lights are down. You're wearing.
As soon as she
which one are you
arrives-
wearing? You wearing KO?
No. This is.
You're doing the Ultimate KO.
Which one are you doing?
I saw
Ultimate
you
KO?
with it.
Oh, shit. How'd you get this picture, bro? Santa left it under the Christmas tree for me. The Ultimate KO. Yeah. That's what I'm wearing for the dinner.
All right.
For the dinner, for sure.
Door opens. Hey, welcome. Let me show you
No.
around.
You forgot one part. One part. Ding dong.
Yeah.
The Patty Pimblett video of him literally dousing.
Yes. Yep.
Then the door opens.
Okay. Everything's going well. Pull off the cover. UFC Ignite.
Yes. The barbecue chicken and side salad from UFC Ignite. You already nailed it.
You cooked it.
You also missed the in-between of me pulling off the tray and it's UFC Ignite when we embrace, a nice little, there I am with UFC Ignite as well. Let's go.
What a Christmas you had, man.
It was a fucking great one. It was
a movie.
A dream Christmas for any fight fan. Before I pull that off, we embraced a nice hug. Hey, how you doing? And she said, is that UFC Ultimate Knockout you're wearing right now?
Okay, but now does this transition to the meme where it's like you ask the girl about basketball and she starts naming fifth roster spot guys from the Kansas?
And she says, did you see Zabit is back in a grappling match? And that's when you say, oh, fuck. How'd you know that?
Oh, how did you learn that? How did you learn that?
How did you know that one? I think we have to order all three of them and find out which one smells the best. And then we have to, oh, God, it looks so good. And then we have to put it up against Bruce Buffer's.
It's Time cologne.
It's Time cologne.
Which we have. I think we have it in the back.
Was that the It's Time? Yeah, It's Time by Bruce Buffer. Eau de Parfum. So I think we have to. Yeah, I think they have to go up against each other. This sounds fantastic, though. I'm in on all of it. So yeah, shout out to the UFC. Continue making products like this, UFC Ignite, UFC Fragrance.
Were you around for the hot dog brander era, or did you miss that?
No, I know about it. You can still get it on Amazon today.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely don't book any title fights. Definitely don't promote your organization in creative ways, cool video packages, face-to-face.
You wouldn't consider coming out with a line of fragrances creative ways of promoting UFC?
Definitely keep up with the fragrances.
It's a great point.
For sure. Keep doing that. No, we do not need quality promotion for this organization. We definitely do not need that.
Oh, boy.
Shout out. All right, that is the news and notes from a weekend without many fights, but God, there was a lot to get to.
Yeah.
Did you watch the Daytona 500 yesterday? Shout out to this Jeff Gordon shirt.
I saw Michael Jordan on the podium.
Oh, grabbing the kid's ass? Yeah, without the sex.
Without the sex.
I don't know what MJ was up to. Can we talk about this shirt? All-time shirt. Shout out to the Rainbow Warrior, Jeff Gordon.
Congrats.
Yep. Tyler Reddick getting it done.
Frankie has been on fire all show with the job.
If anyone was watching, I had a Ricky Stenhouse plus 4,000 ticket.
Was he second?
Yeah, second.
Oh,
Second, it hurt.
Did it look like he was in?
He was in first on the last lap, and
In the last lap,
he was in first.
This is what you were telling me last week about how it's like the fucking swings are crazy.
It's crazy. A crazy sweat. Yeah, he was in the Chef Boyardee 47. And it, like, you got to throw like crazy, like plus 1,000, plus 1,500. That's what all the drivers are. Had at one point with like 18 laps to go, I had first, second, and third, and I was like, oh God, what could go wrong?
Can anybody ever be like a? What would make somebody a favorite in a race like that?
They do road courses, and there's one guy who's like a road course specialist, and like I saw him as a minus 110 last year.
Okay,
and he won.
So that's basically the only way, right? Otherwise, it's pretty much an open field.
It's an open field. On shorter tracks, it'll be like a plus 300.
Okay.
All right, and that's our NASCAR discussion for the year. That'll be it. Actually, we'll check back in at Talladega. Frankie, we get any super chats?
Super chats. You sure did. The Robot Ren says, top 5 conspiracy theories?
Top 5 conspiracy theories. For pound, or you want us to name them right now?
I think
Moon landing.
should just consider it for... Did you see moon landing?
JFK assassination.
Good God, what do you think, he's still
Kurt
alive?
Cobain.
Did you guys see Obama saying that aliens are real?
I did, but then he clarified.
Yeah, he clarified because they threatened him. They showed him the video of JFK that no one's seen, and they're like, you can't just go on TV and say aliens are real. This will be you.
I saw something on Cowshoe where it's like someone tweeted out that it's like the odds of the U.S. revealing that aliens are real this year is like 18 or 19%.
Yes, in the direction.
Yeah. Aliens are definitely real, so that's not even a conspiracy theory, so we don't even need to get into all that. But Kurt Cobain.
That one's going around a lot now.
Shout out to Soaked in Bleach.
They've done some investigations into the death.
Yeah, conspiracy theories are fun.
I have been going through Paramount's UFC fight archives since they uploaded everything. What are your top 5 fights you can recall? Love the show.
Oh, appreciate you. I am Ed Bridge. Yeah, top 5 fights, man. A lot of top 5 lists off the dome here.
I don't think my brain works this way anymore.
Paramount search feature is like kind of hit or miss so far for me. Sometimes like the fights just don't pull up. Top 5 fights all the time. Yuri Prochazka, Glover Teixeira, UFC 275. That's an all-timer. Islam Makhachev, Alexander Volkanovski, UFC 284. That's an all-timer. John
versus Gustafson.
John versus Gustafson. There you go. That's another good one. All-out drag-em-out war.
Chael versus... Oh, it's a war?
Joanna.
Just whatever. Oh, yeah. Joanna versus Zhang 1. Not the one at UFC 275.
I was going to say Chael versus Anderson, but did it have to... What did he say? Just fights or wars?
No, I think he just said fights.
I mean, that's a classic.
Roy McDonald, Robbie Lawler.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
It's fun going back through like a guy's career and just watching as many fights as you can.
I can't do it that way anymore.
Oh, I love it.
There's so much fighting. I can't do the like, what's the top 5? Like my brain just can't compute all the data anymore.
Yeah. One of my favorite of all time that I've gone back and watched several times is Glover Teixeira versus Yuri Prochazka.
It's a great one.
It actually gets the respect it deserves on Tapology's like fan ranking list of all time. Lawler McDonald too is number 1 from UFC 189, but Teixeira Prochazka number 2.
this may be controversial. I don't think it is, though. I think Yuri and Glover is actually a better fight.
It was so
Rory and Robbie had this section of it that was iconic, made even more iconic by the stare down between rounds. But fight-wise, I'd argue like Lawler Condit was actually probably better, and definitely Yuri and Glover. It was a great fight, don't get me wrong, but Yuri and Glover is elite tier.
Just go watch any Yuri fight.
Yeah.
Only 8 of them in the UFC. They're all bangers. They're
Even
all
Ryzen fights.
Yeah.
Yuri's a bad boy.
Yuri has been to 1 decision in 38 professional fights.
Yeah. What else?
The Aaron Duck wants to know what Petey's favorite song from Dark Side of the Moon is. I'm going to assume it's Money.
Yeah.
Because he will not part with the $20 he owes me.
You know him
What are you
well.
going to do
Did he
about that,
actually
Frank?
send it? Let's get to the bottom of this.
He says he actually sent it.
You
Like,
keep saying this. You won the Royal Rumble draft. We all paid you $20. Except for Pizzi. He doesn't have access to like a Venmo or a Cash App to easily send it.
Although
so
we've
he
been
nailed
told
it.
he has PayPal.
He made me download Revolut.
Yeah.
I don't know how many European people are watching, but that was a bitch.
Do you have a plan for collecting?
Well, there's interest being charged.
Do you want me to get it when I go to Ireland?
If it takes that long, absolutely.
I would be happy to do it.
And
I'd be
then-
happy to do it.
Yeah.
Any other super chat?
Yes. What's more likely, John versus Alex or Alex versus Tom? I was hoping it was going to say Alex versus John.
John versus Alex.
I think so, just because we don't know. It really is like it's not when, it's if with Tom at this point.
By the way, like Tom versus Alex doesn't feel like it's on the horizon at all, because even when Tom comes back, it's going to be likely Gon.
Yeah.
Assuming that Gon is champion or interim champion, or maybe there wasn't an interim title established. Like Gon is the name that's most linked to Tom, not Alex. Whereas Alex versus John could be made right now. They could wake up tomorrow and say, we're going to pay John Jones what he's worth. We're going to get Alex up to heavyweight. That could happen, as long as John's willing to do it. So yeah, I'd go John versus Alex.
And lastly, La Mancha MMA was meant to be MMA's Centel.
La Mancha MMA was meant to be MMA.
I think I've seen this account doing some shit posting before. So
I mean, he is in the chat gassing himself up. It just didn't work out, I guess.
Is Ruben Carter's not Centel though, because he's not clever. He just does like fake.
Yeah, but he's getting to the point now where like you're getting Rubened, bro.
Yeah, Ruben.
You've been stuffed between bread and what, 1,000 Island dressing put on you. You've been Ruben, man. You've officially been Ruben Carter. Unfortunately, because it's just simply.
Josh Thompson, you've been Rubened.
Yeah, the way that Josh Thompson's video started out, he's just like, well, guys, it looks like Tom Aspinall has been cut from the promotion. It's like so nonchalantly, didn't double check shit. Like he was just like, well, Ruben Carter said it, so it.
No, he didn't say him by name, I don't think, which is
even worse.
Yeah, that's the point though, and why I think people ran with it. It was like, oh, Josh is saying this. He must have some intel. Shout out to no shout out, anti shout out to Ruben Carter.
Oh, we've been giving him mad love.
Is his name Ruben Carter? Do we think it's a real person, or is it?
I don't fucking know.
An alias.
I don't know. It's definitely an alias. It's an alias for sure.
It's not really Ruben.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Ruben stuttered. Ruben sandwich. Those
Ruben
are the only
stuttered.
ones we
Ruben
acknowledge.
sandwich are the only two. I might have a Ruben for dinner tonight. Who knows? That is
Who's
going
to
to do
check?
it for us on the program, though. Not that busy of a weekend in combat sports. I was about to be like, we recapped the busy weekend in combat sports. It wasn't that busy. We're here just enjoying ourselves on President's Day. We'll be back here tomorrow.
On the nose tomorrow again. So
Yes.
get your questions in. The post is already up. ArielHelwani.substack.com, and we'll answer them.
We'll answer your questions while Ariel continues his work at the Olympics in Livigno. Just a couple weeks and he'll be back. You're done being stuck with us. But until then, show tomorrow on Crown Doc on Wednesday.
Let's do it.
Another show on Thursday, Crack on Friday. A big week as always here at On Crown. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.